Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
I'm noticing Jake rocking a beat up Red Sox hat today. And downstairs in my office, I have my like OG beat up Red Sox hat. I don't wear it anymore. I don't wear hats in general. But I still have like the hat, the one that has seen it all. And I'm curious, Dallas and Jay Hay, as lifelong baseball fans, did you guys have like the hat? Like, did you guys have like a hat that has seen it all as a fan of your younger years?
I grew up wearing two hats. I had two hats, and that was because I was in Stockton, where I was with the A's and the Giants. But I did not. And there's a split hat that makes its way around, that used to be able to make its way around when the two teams would play. Never that split hat. Nay. No, but it was, for the majority of my life, was wearing my Little League hats. So I didn't have I had a Giants hat, an A's hat, but my Little League hat or my All-Star hat, that was the hat that I wore.
Jay?
I mean, I had a Indians hat as a kid growing up that had a nice run, but my longest tenured hat is actually as an adult. It's an Arizona Diamondbacks hat that Steve Berthium sent me after he left ESPN to take the play-by-play job with the D-backs, for helping him with some research. And that hat, so that probably would have been 2011, maybe 2012 at the latest. So that hat's had a good 12-year run. And I still wear it, to run and exercise in. So kind of random because I'm not a D-backs fan, obviously, but that's the hat that's stayed with me the longest.
Interesting. How long has that hat been in circulation, Jake?
It's actually my dad's.
Oh,
I think it is beat up, but I think that's just the style it came as. But he gifted this one to me, so I'm going to be rocking this for this foreseeable future.
Love that.
So we thought it was
a good hat,
tattered, war-torn emblem of fanhood, but really it's a 2024 Father's Day present that he left over at Jake's house, and Jake's like, well, fuck, my head's cold, and hair looks, I'll throw this on.
It's like the intentionally ripped jeans.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. That's okay. We have the 2016 MLB Re-Draft on today's show. I don't pay attention to the Discord voting who wins because they're just very biased. They're very biased.
That's what I found out. That's what I found out, though, Jared.
Yeah.
That's what I have found out is there has not been any voting. They've chopped it up. They've talked about it. What I found really, really interesting is there was a significant amount of the Discord that is like, are we sure that Jay should even be allowed to participate anymore?
Wow.
It's really tough when the guy who touts himself as the brain is drafting non-eligible players. And it'd be understandable.
No. They said, should I be even allowed to participate because I keep dominating it so badly?
Three times.
That's not exactly how it works.
It's pretty easy to dominate the draft when you get the first or second pick every single time. I've been battling
prepare better
from the third and fourth spots every time.
He drafted, and again, if you make the mistake once, especially
we don't have a rule.
As the brain, right? Especially
You're doing
as the
ad
brain.
hoc
You make
rule
that
creation
mistake
right now.
once. You make it once, okay, it's understandable. Like, you probably got
Sure.
shit going on. Maybe childcare was an issue in preparation.
Definitely.
We've heard that story before. So I can understand there might be some things that have detracted from, his ability to, what'd you just say, Jay? Hey, prepare better. So
Sure.
you make that mistake once, okay. You make it twice, it's like, oh shit, do you care? Like, have you
It's almost like I did it on purpose to throw you off because you're still thinking about it instead of preparing for the 2016 draft.
Okay, that's fair. So you don't prepare.
Yeah.
Damn,
so then
I just
when
fucking
you make the
incepted
mistake
you so hard.
third time, when you make the mistake the third time in the same draft, it's like, fuck,
it's like
man.
that's all you can think about.
I've got my dog outside, and we could probably just sign her up to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
If we just needed a warm body.
Here's why I'm concerned.
That's
about
where you're concerned.
You're
is very
saying
different than why the
you said
Discord
before
is
we
concerned.
started. You said before we started recording that you thinking you're going to get more into Discord, and I, for one, would like to stop down and fully encourage you to do that because I think the fans would love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd love to cross paths with you in there. But what you did evidently miss is that there has been voting. So I think maybe your Discord navigation
Oh yeah,
it needs more time to marinate for sure. And I think you know that. It's kind of like you're drafting.
Yeah,
it needs
what
just a
I
little bit more
found though
time
was very
in
revealing.
the oven.
Very revealing.
Yeah, I would
was
say,
shocked.
If Dallas is going to get into the Discord world, it would be very beneficial for him to live stream his first experience trying to navigate Discord. Just to see.
I did it last night.
That would be our
That's
best social video.
That's how I found it.
Yeah.
That's how I found it. I was
you
like,
found
oh,
out-
really?
Yeah.
That's an easy 1 million views.
Yeah. Once the Family Feud, where like 2 people wanted me to come to Thanksgiving, was brought to light, then I was like, okay, so like I'm never gonna win a draft vote, even if I have the best team. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
No,
Yeah.
you seem fine with it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I think Dallas gets in there. We do the Discord live stream, him getting into Discord, because then we also get the bonus, his trip to the Apple store to get his new phone because he smashed his phone. And it's it's going to be like more of a documentary, I think, than it would be just kind of a live stream.
I'm extremely happy with how I have navigated Discord and what I have found in my navigation of Discord. Yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything I found fits
I
my
the
narrative.
guy that just did the Red Sox Netflix special. I could call him up and be like, "You guys want your next Netflix special? I got it. You guys want ideas?"
Dallas does Discord.
Yeah, Dallas tries to get his internet to work and then tries to navigate Discord for the first time. 3-part doc. Our
I couldn't be
episodes.
more appreciative of what I found on Discord.
Yeah,
just don't take your headphones off while you're going into Discord because we know.
Yeah,
I got to sleep with these fucking things on.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian Wilson, who again, starting 9, the live show was ahead of its time. It was comedic brilliance, and Brian Wilson rocking the headphones that weren't plugged into anything for every episode was just. It was a nice touch that I don't think, because there was no payoff. Like, I don't think when we were doing the show, we never acknowledged that was the case. I think everyone just thought that they were plugged in and he was using that.
But Jared, the reason, dude, the reason why, like, it, like, you ever have moments, like, you have moments where you experience something funny and you're like, you know what? That hit so well. I want that to happen again. I want that to be a thing again. And so we never, like you said, there was no payoff, but the people that followed, like after we disbanded, they would message us and me and Wilson would sit here and we would just laugh because we'd be like, because I would tell them, I'd be like, see, I fucking told you. Because I didn't really have a feel for how glued in and locked in that people would be to what's going on. And it took me one fucking episode for somebody to be like, what the fuck was playing in your background? What was on? And I was like, oh, buddy,
the Spice
roll
Network
now. And so Weez was like, all right. So, I mean, we had bananas and oranges set up in very precarious positions all throughout the background. One of the 7 TVs I had up back here was constantly playing the adult movie selection channel. So like it had all the titles of the random shit, like Big Cans 19, like all that is playing.
It
like,
wasn't as
knock,
good as
knock,
18.
who's home? It's your mother. Like all this is on the fucking, it was great. But these people would be like, dude, we didn't see it at first, but now like, this is great. Going back, they would watch the old episodes and Wilson, he would always have his fucking headphones on, but like the little IFB thing would be dangling out and he would just constantly be fucking, it was great.
That for my money is and probably will be the funniest shit I will ever be involved in professionally. That show ahead of its time is overused. That show was absolutely ahead of its time. And I would give almost anything for even like a reunion run to bring that show back. I don't even know if we could get away with a lot of what was gotten away with on that show. But by the way, shout out to Yaz too. Because
big shout out to Yaz.
What a come down that must have been for that to basically be your first professional media experience, is sitting in the corner watching Brian and Dallas and Jared on the screen do the digital show. Where do you go from there?
she would.
I mean, I know where she went, but where does one go? You know, like
she would leave. She would leave here like, I can't believe this is a job. And I'd be like, I know,
you shouldn't believe it.
Right.
should've.
She's like, I don't do anything. I'm like, no, you do. Like, you help with the radio. You do. She was like, but this is crazy just to. Yeah, it was wild.
Every time this comes up, I always try and go back to find clips, but I don't know that I have any.
I think I may still have some. I think when we started talking about old Starting 9 episodes, I went down a rabbit hole and I realized that I had some. I don't many maybe because I know they deleted them on their side, but I think we have them as a group, a lot of them.
They're just too good. They're too good to just be lost to the archives.
I mean, that is epic television.
Yeah, like the
it was also as unprofessional as possible behind the scenes. That's the other best part. We were basically speaking into tin cans strung up with ropes spread across the country. That's how I was talking to Dallas was, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You say strung up with ropes like you're joking. Do you remember? I think I did it for, I had to do it for Pete one time. I told him, said, I don't think you understand what I'm doing on a daily basis to make this show happen. I'm walking 200 feet worth of, fucking cable and stringing it across my swimming pool. This cable's suspended over fucking my pool. Like if a fucking strong wind comes, we're fucked. We're done.
We didn't even have talk back.
No.
To talk to Jared, I had to exit
out
the closet and kind of like mime to him on like while it was going on, or wait till we ran video and slip him a note card. It was the whole time I was at Barstool, we didn't have talk back for any single project that we did.
Yeah. You don't get to communicate to the people on TV.
That was a real eye opener.
I have to find the video about was it the front door here? Was it the front door heater? No, it was the back door slider.
It was the back door slider.
We gotta find those videos.
You know what, dude? You know what? Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna do that one day. Weez will just be here for the podcast.
That'll be a great day.
Will he though?
Yeah. One day.
I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever see him again in the media world.
Oh, not as a returning mainstay participant. No.
Like, did they delete these completely off the blog? Probably. I'll have to find them. Because I think that they probably pulled the videos, but there's people that will sauce us the archive.
Yeah, we don't have to name names, but plenty of good people still over there that can maybe do a solid.
Yeah, this is just like a promo.
Oh God, keep it going. This is on the internet right now.
On the way up.
Pretty big fucking deal.
Pretty good.
9-piece nugget meal.
Extra dipping sauce.
It's a 20 straight fucking wins.
Come on, one time.
Weird shit happens in baseball. That's why we watch.
Open your goddamn hips.
That was like when Rhys Hoskins was in the league for 5 weeks at the time, and he came into the office.
The Sacktown Stinger.
Yeah.
How do you fucking sleep? Thumbs down, guy.
Update, Jared. What is going on?
Retweet by college girl. Retweet by college girl.
Back in heat. Star-studded. This is the passion this club is playing with right now.
Spectacular catch, but he's just like,
Just throw the deco. I got it. And you know,
there's definitely. I gotta find the fucking backdoor slide. What was that? Do you remember the porn star's name? Was it Kendra Lust?
Yes. What? Who we were gonna interview?
Talking about? Yeah.
Because I was DMing her, like when I was DMing with her live, telling her that I wanted her to come on the pod. She was like, "Yeah, what's up?"
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, those are just simpler times, man. Those are simpler times. Like being able to have Brian Wilson of World Series fame just sitting there at your disposal, talking baseball, outrageous takes. I don't know what's he doing these days? What's he doing these days, Dallas?
Living life, enjoying the beach.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can run it back in 2025, but that's like a bullet list item for me to be able to just do that show. Even if it was like a one-off special, even if we just did it once just to do it.
It would be fun, but it would have to be a one-off special.
Yeah. He's not committing to.
No, and it's not like he's forward facing in the public where the idea of a take or anything sort of ruining anything that he's got going. He's not too worried about that.
No,
but he just really wouldn't. Yeah, it's not what's firing him up these days. We had a lot of fun. There's a reason that we had so much fun together because, like you said, simpler times, just different shit going on.
Yeah, simpler times. We had a lot of fun with the Underdog Fantasy app too, though. Who them boys playing this weekend?
This week. Oh, you know what? I don't know. We just played Carolina. I don't know who we play. I haven't looked. Cowboys schedule.
That's how bad it's gotten.
Yeah. No.
You guys are playing the Eagles on Sunday.
No, I'll be honest. I woke up last week realizing, boom, guess what, dude? All of the tie-breaking shit that needed to happen. I think we talked about this. I woke up and found myself in my fantasy playoffs at 5-9. At 5-9.
That's incredible. What do they let every team? I found
myself in our fantasy playoffs, and I'm now one game away from going to the Super Bowl as a 5-9 afterthought.
That's janky as hell. Just to clean that up, though, Eagles is 2 Sundays from now. This coming weekend is the Buccaneers.
Oh,
Sunday Night Football.
Woo! Don't miss it.
I will.
Don't miss it, but you can definitely get in on the action with the Underdog Fantasy app. I know that for a fact because it's the greatest time of the year. Football's back and it's here to stay until February. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats like touchdowns, passing yards, and more. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head on over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app, or you can head right on over to UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up with the promo code Jared, that's Jared, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 of bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sad that I don't have those videos on my phone anymore. I don't know where they are. Like, I still have videos from like 2017, like Barstool shit, but I feel like I used to have like a bunch of like starting nine promos. Maybe I deleted them in anger once they canceled that show because it was a great fucking show. I was like, all right, fine, fuck it. But either way, we have the MLB Re-Draft 2016 will be on today's show. Family Feud, of course, making its return, and the Cy Young Hindsight featuring Justin Havens, the 2009 Cy Young Award balloting, which was Zach Greinke and Tim Lincecum. This is a nice little revisit for, I feel like, the generation of folks that listen to Baseball is Dead.
100%. This is my wheelhouse too. Yeah,
this is a good one. But where we can start today, in the Baseball is Dead group chat, Cody Bellinger gets traded to the New York Yankees, and we had a little powwow. Is this emergency podcast worthy? Ultimately decided no. No disrespect to the Flonase King. I don't think there was an emergency element to it, but it's certainly worthy of leading off today's podcast that Cody Bellinger gets flipped to the Bronx for Cody Petite, and the Cubs picking up the tab for what, $5 million of the 20-something million that he's owed. I
think what the bigger story here is what the Yankees have done on the whole. And Bellinger obviously a part of that. But you miss out on Juan Soto. What do you have to do? And we've talked about in different ways how you have to pivot, how you have to have that contingency plan in place. And that's why when you think about the dollars attached to a Soto offer, do you have other guys? And I think the answer has been clearly yes. Are there other guys that you could put together that would come up and maybe give you that total or roughly that total? And they're nowhere near that total in terms of commitment, even with signing Max Fried to their 8-year deal, $218 million. But now you bring in Cody Bellinger as well. Now you bring in Devin Williams as well. And things are starting to look very different than they were before you missed out on Juan Soto, and even 10 minutes after you missed out on Juan Soto. So you don't net the biggest fish in the market, but what you did net are 3 fairly solid fish that have bolstered the strength of your school of fish as a whole. And so now you feel like you can travel a little safely or a little safer in those numbers because you're not just that one guppy with Juan Soto and everybody's hunting you. Now you've got a little bit of support, and maybe it looks a little different and it feels a little different than it did before you missed out on the big dog.
I'm going to ask Justin Havens a question. Just a question. I'm not attaching an opinion to it. I'm asking his opinion. Would you rather have 15 years of Juan Soto or 8 years of Max Fried, 2 years of Cody Bellinger, and 1 year of Devin Williams?
Buddy, I'm so glad you asked me that because I expressed this exact opinion on Twitter, and I'm still a little speechless at a percentage of the responses that I've seen from Yankees fans. There is a correct answer and there is an incorrect answer here. The correct answer is you would rather have Juan Soto. And the Yankees also feel that way because you know what they did? They offered Juan Soto $750 million before he went $60 million before he went somewhere else. So the Yankees agree that they'd rather have Juan Soto, and I agree that they would rather have Juan Soto. That is a distinct point, distinct and separate from the point that Dallas just made, which I wholeheartedly agree with, which is that I think the Yankees have done an excellent job pivoting, and I think these 3 transactions make them better and are a good secondary solution to not signing Juan Soto. They might not have been able to flex their financial might to bring Juan Soto back, but they have, each of these transactions is basically flexing their financial might in a different way. Devin Williams was a guy that the Brewers could or chose not to afford, and obviously we're not going to re-sign. They went and got him. Fried is obviously a money move. They paid to go get him. And this is basically the willingness to absorb the majority of money owed to Cody Bellinger. The Cubs weren't interested. We'll see whether that money is reinvested. And that's maybe a secondary question we can get to. But to your original question, Juan Soto is the correct answer because the other thing that I think a lot of people that are saying, oh, I'd rather have Fried, Williams, and Bellinger than Soto is in their head, they're not considering that the Yankees also would have continued to fill out the roster if they had signed Juan Soto. Would it have been Cody Bellinger? Would it have been Max Fried? No, probably not. But you don't leave those roster spots blank, right? And so that's part of the thing that's confusing to me in some of the response here. But Juan Soto is unequivocally the correct answer. I get the idea of spreading risk around. Oh, it just takes one injury and the Juan Soto thing. That's fine. That's fine. All 3 of these players combined are less valuable than Juan Soto.
Let me rephrase the question then.
Sure.
15 years of Juan Soto or 8 years of Max Fried, 1 year of Devin Williams, and 2 years of Cody Bellinger, and 6 years of Alex Bregman / 2 years of Nolan Arenado, because I feel like they're going to get one of them. I feel like they are going to get one of those 2 guys. They're not done, and it's going to be one of those 2.
So if they go out and get Alex Bregman, you can conceivably make the argument that the Yankees are as well positioned to return to the World Series in 2025 as they were in 2024. I'm fine if you want to view it that way. But no serious baseball fan, and certainly nobody who is building a team, is really going to take $1 and break it into 4 quarters if they don't have to. And the Yankees didn't want to do that, and this is their secondary plan. The Nolan Arenado thing, like I see a distinction between Bregman and Arenado. You throwing Arenado onto this pile does almost nothing for me because to me, you could have acquired a player of Nolan Arenado's caliber with or even if you had signed Juan Soto. So, like, I know we can just keep adding names to this list. And when does it get better than Juan Soto? They traded assets to go get Devin Williams. They had to replace Clay Holmes, right? Like, these things matter in this equation too. Nobody's bringing up Nestor Cortez. Nobody's bringing up Caleb Durbin. That is part of the math too. These guys didn't just appear for nothing. So I get that that Yankees fans are allowed to be excited about the new direction of the team. And frankly, if I was a Yankees fan, I would have some level of enthusiasm about where they've gone post Soto. But you will not and cannot convince me that any combination of worse players is something the Yankees would rather have than 15 years of Juan Soto, because the proof is ultimately in the pudding. They offered Juan Soto all of that money before doing any of this other stuff because they wanted Juan Soto, and they know that players like that are almost priceless, almost to an extent, and that's why they bid on.
What we don't have though is either the benefit of hindsight or the initial proof that the Yankees would be doing more than adding Juan Soto. Because I think, and talking to a lot of Yankee fans, I think there's a lot of Yankee fans who feel like that was going to be their move. They were going to make that move, and then anything else that they were going to bring in was not going to be a needle mover, was not going to be a move that we would be jumping on the podcast to fire it up for. It was going to just be some ancillary supporting moves. But Juan Soto, acquiring him was going to win the day. It was going to win the offseason. It was going to win back the hearts of Yankees fans and their interests. So I do understand the idea of adding Juan Soto and how you can't get much better than that. But if you're telling these Yankee fans, who I think understand that Juan Soto himself is not carrying them to the World Series, though having him in the building helps, when they start to look at the holes that are in their roster or a part of their roster, if you're telling them immediately in the aftermath that they don't have Juan Soto, but what we do have is a frontline starting pitcher, we do have a frontline high leverage bullpen arm to add, and we're also going to bring in a guy who can alleviate some pressure on a guy who's been playing center field for us. Now, we don't need to talk about the scale of production that we expect from that latter individual, being Cody Bellinger, but all of those three together, it gives the Yankee fans a feeling that says we may have missed out, but we are not in a completely different realm now, having missed out. We're still in a really good spot.
I agree that they are still in a really good spot, but a lot of the responses that I am seeing, and I get it, the people that are on Twitter are not necessarily a fair slice of all 100% Yankee fans. I understand that, but it's not just we are happy with the pivot. There is a percentage that are now doing the I didn't want to be invited to that party anyway routine.
Oh yeah, no, that's
where they're like
that you just look.
That's
ignorant.
kind of what I'm getting at here, which is these
look
people
ignorant.
that are either genuine in their belief or have deluded themselves to a degree where they truly believe that Juan Soto is a one-dimensional DH who doesn't do all of the things that all of these other guys do. And I do not have time for that line of thinking, because that is just sour grapes. That's just sour grapes. 3 2.5 win players do not equal an 8-win player. That's not how baseball works. It's just not. 2.6. You get my point. You get my point.
No, it doesn't add up.
Well, 2.67. Okay.
They don't add up, Jay. It doesn't get to 8. I just did it. It doesn't get to 8. It's two separate points really, but the answer is Juan Soto, and it doesn't matter how many players you add on top of that for me.
That's fine. But I don't want to take away from the fact that I like the move for the Yankees. Like I
do
like
too.
Cody Bellinger. Yeah. I mean, like, if you look at it this way, the ballpark helps undoubtedly. Yes. For the money, whatever, like, let's take the money out of it. Let's say Cody Bellinger is in the range of a 2 to 4 win player, which is what I tweeted. I like the move. Like, you're never going to replace Juan Soto. Like, you're not going to get a 9-win player.
No, but are you happy if you're the Yankees that you get 3 wins out of that 3-player trio? If that's something that happens, I feel
3
like
each or 3 total.
3. No. I said out of those 3 players, if you can get to 8 wins
I
with those 3 players combined, then are you because
Yeah.
I think that's part of the
I
math,
guess,
right?
yeah. I mean, you're gonna do that.
Well, because Jared, think about where you're getting that productivity. It's not coming just in the lineup, which is great because you got to score runs to win. But that productivity would be coming not only in the lineup, not only out of the bullpen, but also with a frontline starter. And when you play baseball, you've got to be able to start the game and have confidence in that guy. You got to be able to score runs.
But defensively as well, you're moving Aaron Judge out of center field, which cost the Yankees
went to the World
championship.
Series. They just went to the World Series with Juan Soto and the construction of the team that we're now shitting all over. I feel like I'm living in a crazy world in some ways because we're talking about the way it's almost like the ways in which the Juan Soto centric team was being held back. They were just in the World Series. Like this team making it back to the World Series would be like the best case scenario for this roster. I don't know. I know that signing 3 players by definition means that you have spread the contributions around to more facets of the game. But like Cody Bellinger is a complementary player. Devin Williams is a 25 to 60 inning pitcher per season. And these are not diminishing these players, but like there is a limit to how good Cody Bellinger can possibly be. There is a limit to what impact Devin Williams can have in the role that he can play. There is no comparison to an 8 or 9 or a 7-win player being in one roster spot. That's just more valuable than this way to build the roster. But that doesn't mean that this wasn't an excellent plan B. I really believe that it was. And I think the Yankees should be applauded for the fact that they were willing to do what the Cubs evidently were not, which was pay Cody Bellinger more money than Cody Bellinger is probably worth. But they're the Yankees, so they needed his versatility, because if you look on the free agent market on what's remained, there really was no player that was the combination of Cody Bellinger's versatility and
the need
and a good player, right? Like,
well,
and
the need. They need somebody to they need somebody to help out at first base, and they need somebody to get Aaron Judge off of center field
for sure.
So who Cody Bellinger was he was always going to be that dude. That's what I'm curious to see about too, is how much of him go, like, all things being equal right now as they stand, who do you want roaming center field for you? Do you want Aaron Judge playing center field, or do you want Cody Bellinger playing?
No, you'd rather have Cody, I think. Yeah. Well, for lots of reasons, I think.
I think it helps defensively.
Yeah, but yeah, he undoubtedly makes them better. I'm equally as fascinated at this point from the Cubs end, because going out and acquiring Kyle Tucker was a move that should be celebrated. I mean, they're definitely better for having sent out Cody Bellinger and brought in Kyle Tucker, but it does take some of the shine off of the enthusiasm for the Cubs if the Cody Bellinger move is strictly a salary dump. Like, to me, the idea of Cody Bellinger moving was always okay for the Cubs, because I assumed that it would be a realignment of resources. It would be them putting that money into the bullpen or into starting pitching or something like that. And if this is just to save them money this season and the risk of Cody Bellinger's option happening next season, that to me is that's business as usual for the Ricketts. And that would make me a little bit concerned if we get to March and this money has not been reinvested.
Yeah. I mean, we better start hearing some extension talks with Kyle Tucker. Not saying that it's going to happen, but I at least need to know that they're trying, that they've approached him, that the conversations have started to happen, or else that's a pretty disappointing thing to have happen. Like, clearing money for what? Like, are you reinvesting that in the team, or are you just trying to save some coin?
Yeah, I'm okay if they don't get him on an extension, or if we don't hear a lot of juice with that. I'd be much more disappointed personally if the Cody Bellinger move is looked back on in 2 months as strictly cost saving, because that to me is a team operating in a way that is not necessary for the brand and market that it's in. And I fully support moving Bellinger because of the players that they have. They didn't know necessarily that Pete Crow Armstrong would fully wrest control of that job midway through the season. They didn't know if Michael Busch was going to be a successful transplant to first base from the Dodgers. They didn't know they were going to get Kyle Tucker, for that matter. So, like, it's okay that this wasn't necessarily foreseen, but the rest of the team needs enough help where they can't just be chopping off 20 million and saying, have a good day.
Yeah. Dallas has some good news.
What do you got?
Well, what I have right here is the Kendra Lust clip.
Fires. I can see where she's coming from. I just feel like this is falling on deaf ears, in my opinion.
Ryan?
What's the matter, Jared? I love her. I mean,
The ball's on her to do this. She's defending the porn community. It's not an argument anyone's going to win, whether porn's bad or porn's good. It's a sticky situation, obviously. I think she's a fan of baseball. So I heard her favorite pitch was it the front door heater or the back door
slider?
Yeah,
back door slider.
Yeah, no, that is a nice little time capsule right there. I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's the best line. I mean, the ball's on her to do this.
Well, and as soon as she said favorite pitch, I was like, oh, I know what we're doing. I got it. I got you, bro. Was it the foot? No. Yeah. Because we used to have this thing like in like in public, like just like the homies who knew, like instead of just like awkwardly ogling an attractive woman, we would do the very mature thing as mature older males, and we would just go like this. We'd fucking shake off and go, like in public, there's like 5 of us just doing this. Throw that a backdoor slider, baby.
Was it the front door heater? The back door slider. Yeah. Like I gotta rip that video and tweet it because I'm just dying laughing the whole time. Like I'm not able to hold the conversation.
No, you're not even looking at the camera.
No. I mean, the ball's on her to do this.
We knew it'd be a sticky situation. Yeah, that was.
Man.
That was when Dayton Moore was.
Yeah, he was banning porn in the clubhouse or something, or
yeah,
he was taking a stand. Good for him. You know.
Yeah, Smokey Bear here for forest fires. Dayton Moore here for skin fires.
Nolan Arenado has blocked a potential trade to the Houston Astros, which is interesting. You know, Jay Hay made the point, like, you know, this is a team that has made it to the ALCS, 8 years out of 9 or whatever it is, to say, I don't want to go there. Clearly, he has a preference of where he'd like to be. There are multiple teams that are interested in acquiring Nolan Arenado. I said this last night on Section 10. It seems to be the holdup in any trade would be that the Cardinals are like, it's a salary dump, but they're looking to get something for him. So that seems to be the holdup. You can't have a salary dump and get an attractive piece at the same time. The Cardinals are presumably battling that. What do we want? Do we want salary relief, or are we trying to get a nice piece here? Can't have both. Not in this situation. So that seems to be why he is still a Cardinal. But if you were to ask me, like, percentage-wise, what are the odds that he gets moved this offseason? 97%. Like, he's going somewhere. It's just a matter.
Seems like it's too far down that road, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a player.
Yeah.
Well, and it just, like, and Nolan, it just, like, if you know him, you get a sense of how he operates. It feels like he's not one that's willing to walk down this path and then be as close to what the end of that path looks like and then hear rumblings and go, oh, well, maybe we could go. Like, no, it's done. You've established where this relationship is. We know what has to happen now. I have to move. And so let's just do that. Let's make that happen.
I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw some report or speculation that one of the reasons he might have vetoed or whatever the deal was not necessarily because he's 100% against going to Houston, but because he's not sure he wants to make a decision about his destination so early in the offseason. And I whether if that's true, if that's not true, then fine. But if it is true, I think it's interesting because it speaks to, I think, some of the concerns that we have had about the Astros and where they might be headed with their offseason building. And if I'm Nolan Arenado and I'm looking at their situation objectively and what they just did with Kyle Tucker and the number of years that Nolan probably knows he has in his career back of his prime, whatever we're calling this period, I would want to be judicious about where I'm going too. Like you could really fuck this up if your goal is to participate at a high level and try to go to the World Series.
And that right there is something, and that's, and Nolan is a very intelligent individual and he understands the landscape. And so he knows what he's saying without having to say this, because nobody's going to come out and say this about themselves in this situation, is I know that I'm not the dude that you're going to go out and acquire to put pieces around. I am more a piece to be complementing a group that you have established, and you know what you're going to get from me. So I'll let the landscape start to evolve and I'll let it start to form. And that's when I'll have a much more clear picture of where I can lay my head at night, because teams and their rosters will start to take shape. They'll have an idea of where they need to fill gaps, and they'll have an idea of what they're willing to do to fill those gaps. I will either fit that mold or I won't. And from there, I'll be able to make my decision, because the suitors will be there. It's going to just be a matter of him, as he said, being comfortable with what that picture looks like, because you could jump on that train right now for the Houston Astros and then look up and realize it's just you and Bobby Dynamite on that train. There ain't nobody else coming. You were it. And so he's probably saying, you know what, let's see if that's different. Let's see if there's more people on that train later. Let's see if there's people on another train. But I'm not going to be the first passenger on. That's not going to happen.
Do you think Bregman is holding up the Arenado market?
It could very well be a matter of what Alex Bregman is deciding to do, because I think, as we have kind of sort of conversed about, that would probably be the piece that you're going to get that is more of a, hey, this is going to be a big factor in what we're trying to do, as opposed to this is a complementary piece to what we're trying to do. That's who I think Alex Bregman is. So yes, I think it is fair to say that the suitors who are interested in Nolan Arenado are probably the same suitors for Alex Bregman, and they're more interested in the services of Alex Bregman. And so what they get from him will ultimately determine how that relationship with Nolan Arenado plays out.
I'm just curious of like, where do you guys think the best fit is for Nolan? Like, if you're him, you can control your destiny at this point. I mean, obviously not every team is in. You can't just pick where you're going to go. But out of the teams that you believe would be in on him, I'm just guessing. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of just like looking at the Bregman market and seeing, if those are the same teams. You've got Houston, who he doesn't want to go to, he said. The Red Sox, the Yankees, the Tigers are lurking. But like, if you're a right-handed hitter, you don't want to go to Detroit.
No, you number one, you don't want to go to Detroit. And number two, that's still a young group who I think we can all agree was a little early, had an early arrival. And what does that look like in year two for this group? And I think that could give Nolan some pause, simply because I believe he's probably in pursuit of a more, and there are no guarantees in this thing, but a team that is positioned with odds north of 50% to find himself playing in October.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I want to see him.
Where do you want to see him?
Philadelphia.
Ooh. Well, they're not trading Bohm.
Well,
but if they are,
they have been listening, haven't they? Right?
And they want to, Jared. They want to. There's a lot of folks who believe Alec Bohm will be playing baseball somewhere other than Philly before the first pitch of the season.
Yeah, obviously, if Jared is correct and they don't move him, then the Phillies don't make a lot of sense. But if they're going to use Bohm to go get assets elsewhere, I think the Phillies fit the criteria that we've been laying out. World Series contender, very good odds to make the postseason, proven veteran-laden team, whose window I know last year's end was a little disappointing and concerning, but I don't think that window is closed yet. I think that would be fun. And I think the whole Philly vibe and Bryce Harper, and it would be nice to see Nolan Arenado. I remember a lot of emotion from Arenado when he was in Colorado at different points in his career. And maybe that's just selective memory, but I'd love to see that fiery version, that something to celebrate version come back.
And Nolan's a dog. Nolan is a dog. And so you got to know too, when it comes to like clubhouse culture, when we're talking about fits, this is a dude who's going to roll in and you're going to see immediately how he rolls and the work that he puts in. And that essentially becomes a demand of sorts from him. Because when a guy like that walks in and he has the dirt under his spikes that he does, you don't question what the fuck he's doing. And you don't question what he's asking you to do or he's expecting you to do for yourself. Again, because of all the track record, and it speaks for itself. So I think while the Phillies would be a great place, and I think the grit and everything really fits that mold, just to go back to what the Yankees have done, you add a guy like Nolan Arenado to that trio of players that you're trying to make up that figure eight that you're missing out on with Soto. You don't get there. Once again, you don't get there. But goddamn, now you have Nolan Arenado. Now you have Max Fried. Now you have Devin Williams. Now you have Cody Bellinger. Things are starting to look even more positive when you start to add names to that group.
I want him here so bad. And it's like this is obviously a different show, but in like the Red Sox community, I say I want Nolan Arenado on the Red Sox, and it's like, oh, you just want your pal on the team. And it's like, well, no, I have a better understanding, I think, of the inner workings of what how the Red Sox are structured right now. And the general consensus from those around the team is that the pecking order is off. The feedback continuously is there needs to be an adult in the room. And that's no disrespect to Trevor Story, but he has played 3 games in the last 4 years. So you need a guy that's going to post, that's going to show up, that has the experience. All the things that Dallas just said about Nolan Arenado, that has been lacking severely in the Red Sox organization, or at least at the big league level. And okay, they had Justin Turner for one of those years, but he was like 37, 38 years old. Like everyone knows, like this is just a stop on the way. And Nolan, he's what, 34, I think. So it's like, all right, like he's not going to be a cornerstone piece of the franchise. No, but it is a 2-year deal versus like Justin Turner was there for 1 year. Yes, he helped the younger guys when he was here for that 1 year, but it was 1 year. And with Nolan,
sorry, go ahead.
What?
No, I was going to say, with all due respect to Justin Turner too, I just feel like Nolan Arenado walks in the room and maybe that's a little bit different.
I don't know. Turner had a big impact here.
Yeah, I'm willing to be told I'm wrong, but Nolan's star wattage, at least in his prime, was obviously on a different level.
Sure. But I think when you look at a guy like Justin Turner and it's like, okay, so all the stars that were on the Dodgers and for the World Series team in 2020, it's like Turner was kind of like their captain. Like he was like the leader. So it meant something when he was here for that 1 year. But Nolan changes the pecking order. He's got the platinum glove. He's played with Story. They've got a thing. And that's been one of the big things with the Red Sox is like, okay, the outfield defense is great. The infield defense has been a disgrace. And it's not just Devers. I'm not just pointing out Devers. Like collectively, it's not been good at all. Like when it's great at shortstop when Story's playing, but he doesn't play often. So the shortstop defense has been terrible. All the guys that they've put out there. So I think for anyone that's like salty, being like, oh, he just wants him on the team because they're pals. It's like, no, I think he helps a lot of areas that the Red Sox need help in. Infield defense, an adult in the room, all the stuff that Dallas just said. He shows up and he works his fucking ass off. And then it's like, what's your excuse to not work that hard then? Like if you're one of these younger guys and you're dilly-dallying and your routine, it's not that your routine is lazy, but what if you just don't know how to have a routine because you've never had a guy like that to emulate?
It ain't big league. And that's okay, but that's why these guys matter, man. And that's why when you see players, retired players my age, players who are still playing right now and maybe rounding third in their career, they know. We understand the value of the presence of individuals like that because we know that the next step behind having somebody in the room to make that kind of impact is somebody looking at their calculator who does not care at all that somebody walks into a room and has presence, that somebody walks into a room and commands the respect and the attention of the younger players. That's where we're at in this sport. And that's what has pissed older players off for so long, is when you ask them what got them to the point in their career where they were having the success, it was all about being able to apply lessons learned from ball players that had done it before them. When you remove individuals like that from the equation across the game, you're going to see a very different tactful approach to how this thing is gone about and how this game is played in your later years, because you will not have an example of how to do it. No, you will just be flying next to your partner, learning what it's like to play ball in year 7, in year 8. How do we prepare? Well, I don't know. Shit. Well, let's go talk. There ain't nobody to talk to. So having a guy like Nolan roll into the room makes a world of difference. And to your point about Justin Turner, he might not have had that same cachet, but all of that immediately goes away when the conversations start to happen and the knowledge starts to flow, and it's institutional knowledge, and you realize, fuck, man, I haven't heard this from anybody else. I haven't heard this anywhere else. This is a revelation to me. And the reason it's happening is because that guy has played with some dudes who have opened his eyes, and it's now his turn to open your eyes. So you cannot, if you're a team who fancies themselves a championship caliber team or a competitor, you have to put stock in having players like this, because a player like Nolan Arenado, ready to contribute at the level that I still think he can, albeit not the all-star caliber of yesteryear, still very, very important and a very integral piece to a championship puzzle.
Yeah. I look at the ballpark and I'm like,
hook it.
Fenway, Nolan, like, you know, you want to talk about the comparisons to Mike Lowell when he came from the Marlins to the Red Sox in 2006 and 2007. He was a throw-in the Josh Beckett deal. No one gave a shit. And then he set the Red Sox record for most runs driven in by a third baseman in franchise history. Like, he just got that right-handed swing that I think it's like, all right, say what you want. Like, the defense is going to be great. And I think Fenway can revitalize his career. I do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Red Sox still have to play ball. That's more on them than it is on him. Were there any other transactions that happened since our last recording that you guys feel passionately about?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Jay, hey, what's this MLB study on pitching injuries? What's that all about?
So I don't think I know Dallas is going to hit us with a much more comprehensive look, probably maybe the next time that we talk. But it just came out. I think that, you know, the long study on why pitcher injuries are happening at the rate that they are was released. And I know Passan had an article about it specifically. I don't know that we necessarily need to spend a ton of time on it, because I think the conclusions were pretty obvious, and ones that everybody who knows pitching or has followed the sport have identified at different points over the last couple of seasons. What I do think, and I think that maybe Dallas can respond to this because I think he tweeted about it, was just the dynamic between, we know what's causing the problem, or we know what one of the huge drivers of the problem is, and we also have the data that says teams are continuing and players themselves are continuing to push themselves in that exact direction in terms of maximum velocity and maximum spin and all of that sort of stuff on every pitch. And if we know a big part of the problem, and everybody seems to be on the same page that whether it's half of the problem, all of the problem, or a part of it, it is part of the problem, yet all of the systems in place and the reward systems in place are continuing to push us in that direction. I think it's nice to get a study, but it's also like, okay, the rubber has to meet the road at some point. And at some point we need to either say, we don't care. And this is evolution. This is physiology. This is where we're headed. So fucking blow it all out. And that's how the sport's going to go. Or we care about starting pitching and we care about bulk contributions and the legacy of the starting pitcher and all that sort of stuff, and just pitching health in general and being able to latch onto those players and market them and create stars. The study is a half step. I mean, we knew these answers. Now the answer is, or now the question is, where do we go from here? And the study left that unanswered.
And also, I'll just read the tweet that I posted that obviously got a lot of traction. I mean, the minute I tweeted it out, I received many texts, texts from the man himself. And he just said, preach. We had a good exchange for a few minutes. But what I said was, velocity equals margin for error. Velocity equals potential for swing and miss and weak contact. Velocity equals opportunity at every level. See converted position players, for example. And schools and pro teams will pay top dollar for it. So if opportunity can be turned into money via scholarships and the draft, then guess what? Velocity really equals money. So velocity, as we know it, is really the legal performance enhancer that creates opportunities. That's a fact. And if you're wondering how asking somebody to not throw as hard as they can to receive the scholarship to get drafted would go, think about this. Try telling the kid who's throwing 96 in high school and punching out the world to back off and go 90 to 93 for his future health benefit. And remember, what you'll need to do is you'll need to ask him to ignore all of the scholarship opportunities that are coming his way because he's throwing 96 at 17 years old. You'll need him to ignore all of the NIL opportunities that are coming his way with life-changing amounts of money because he's blowing 96 at 17. You'll need him to ignore the draft opportunities. So to hell with the scholarship, to hell with the NIL money. How's $7 million sound? You want him to ignore that too, so that he could, on the other side of that, not be guaranteed a clean bill of health, just theoretically not be that much closer to blowing out. But something that has not been discussed, and I have felt strongly about from the very beginning, and Jared and I had a very heated exchange when we very first started doing this podcast thing about my stance on Tommy John. And the fact that we have discussed it and framed it and couched it like the common cold is a huge contributing factor to why this continues to persist. Because it is now more so a rite of passage to have a structurally altered procedure done, meaning Tommy John. It is more of a rite of passage today to walk into pro ball with a zipper already than it is to get it done while you're a professional. Like, oh, there's two groups here. Pre-pro TJs, pro TJs. And then you got another group, multiple TJs. Those are real like brotherhoods that exist. But everything that has contributed to that has been the chase of the almighty dollar. And you understand that we live in a society where people, regardless of your status, regardless of your lot in life, if given an opportunity or presented with an opportunity to maximize what they have in the face of risk, that's what happens, is it not? We make risk assessments every day. And so you're asking a kid who might come from less than nothing, who was given a talent that only God could touch him with, you're asking him to forego potential earning power for potential future earning power, again, with no guarantee of health that will get him there. So the toothpaste, as it's been said time and time again, is so far out of the tube, you need to quit trying to put it back in. You need to figure out what sort of tube it does belong in.
In my head, I usually just default to like thinking of the people that are going to be drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. And I'm like, wow, that would be just an incredibly complicated thing to kind of tear down and start over. And then you realize, what about the Dominican Republic? Mm-hmm. What about Venezuela? What about all of these places where you have no real ability to regulate? And to your point about I mean, there are very poor people in this country as well. But like, just say, for example, Rob Manfred was able to institute some sort of rule where everybody eligible for the Major League Baseball draft had to have their workload, whatever. Everybody can fill in the blanks as to what that might look like. So, and you're sitting down there in the Dominican Republic and you're saying, this is my one and only chance to break through into the major leagues. You're not going to be like, I'm going to take it easy. You're going to be like, I'm going fuller throttle because the lane is even more wide open for me now. And teams are not going to be able to resist that temptation. So you're just, it's so complicated and so convoluted that every time you start to have the conversation, there's an additional layer that gets brought up where it's like, oh, well, that would be impossible to navigate. And that's like the 8th layer of impossible navigation that it feels like is building up on this topic.
Put it like this. Disneyland is not turning away the drug dealer who's bringing in 8 family members because the money he's paying with came through nefarious activity. Disneyland don't give a fuck. They will take his money and they hope he has the best time at the happiest place on earth. They don't care. And that's what Major League Baseball teams are like. I don't care how you get to 97. I don't care. Do I see 97? I do. And what do I see with 97? I see everything I just laid out. Margin for error. I see potential for cheap labor. Should you blow out within the first 7 years of being in the big leagues, that's extremely cheap labor for me. Like, I'm not worried about it at all. Just get to 97. But if I have to turn this way and talk about what we're talking about, well, then I have to do this. And you understand there's a crisis in our game and we have to do something about it. We have to manage it. And we will stop at nothing to figure out what is happening to our sport and its athletes. It is incumbent upon us as owners in this game to put our athletes, our resources in the best possible position to succeed and create longevity for the sport, because that's what matters. And then when we're done looking at the camera, talking about it like this, we get to do this. You know how many fucking guys I got down there in the complex that are blowing 96? Now I got a fucking 16-year-old, 94, 95. Yeah, well, he's going to pop. Yeah, he'll probably pop, but think about it. He'll pop, and then we'll get him back at 18, 19, ready to rip again. Those conversations happen every day, just like that. Hate to burst your bubble, and sorry to do that to you on Christmas.
I think it's fascinating. It's one of those things where you can identify it as a problem, but there really is no solution. Like, it's not like we can get our heads together and say, hey, what's the best way for us to solve this? There's no solving it. There is adapting to it. There is adjusting to it. There is navigating it. There is no solving it.
What if all 4 of us were pitchers and Jake is the one with 98? All right. And we're all 94, but Jake has 98. He's got the big heater. He's touched 100 and he's the one getting looks. And us 3 are like, fuck, man. Every time Jake pitches, the scouts are here to watch him. The cross checkers are here to watch him. Us 3, it's fucking 94. We're not getting the love. Like, we don't see the guns pop up. Like, what do we got to do? Would you be okay with someone telling you, just, you're fine. Stay right there. There's no reason to chase velocity. You're watching a guy who's not as good as you, who has a better fastball than you, get all the attention and get all the acknowledgments. He's getting the opportunities because they're looking at us going, we can't teach them to throw 100. Like, they're 94 and that's cool. But Jake, buddy, you're the 100-mile-an-hour arm. We want to see you throw again. What do we do? We're just going to take that and roll? No, buddy, absolutely fucking not. No, I'm chasing the hundo.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but like, at the amateur level, does stuff just not matter? Like, are we really just saying, like, this guy throws 98, so we like him. This dude throws 93, but he's got disgusting shit, but it's like, it's 93.
Yes. That's
so stuff doesn't matter.
No. Stuff.
Are they looking at numbers?
Stuff matters. So I'm not sure quite how you're asking that question. So stuff matters. So what I'm saying is, Jake, 98 off the mound, 87-mile-an-hour slider. Just disgusting shit, but not the results. He's not getting the results. But our numbers, who are pitching at 92 to 94, are our strikeout rates, our walk rates, all of those look attractive, right? All of those are competitive. That's great at an amateur level. What their thought process is, if I can get this other fucking guy to throw it within this square, those numbers are going to look really good. So I like the risk of a guy throwing 100, because if I can just get him to throw it here, we're good. The other guy, he can throw it there, but we already know what it looks like when he throws it there. There are hits involved, and there can be damage given up. But the odds of that damage looking the same with the dude throwing 100, those odds decrease because the margin for error is greater. So I'm probably more willing to spend time, say a year with Jake, and develop and get him to throw strikes than I would be trying to spend 2 to 3 years getting you up to 98, 100.
Can I just toss out a tangent point here?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think the mystique of Greg Maddux has also done a disservice to this conversation, because there is this impression that Greg Maddux was essentially throwing the ball underhand and was able to be one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And I get what he looked like at the end of his career, when a lot of people that are talking about it remember him kind of. That's not who Greg Maddux was when he came up. He was not throwing 100, because you know what? Starting pitchers didn't really throw 100 back then. You know what he was throwing? He was throwing like 93 when he came up, and that was pretty damn good for his fastball.
Out of high school. Out of high school.
So, and if you go back and look at his stats, no, his strikeout numbers are not Randy Johnson. They're not eye-popping. Randy Johnson is maybe the greatest strikeout artist of all time in some ways. Maddux finished in the top 3 in the NL in strikeouts 5 times. He was 3 times in the top 10 in K per 9, and he finished in the top 10 of strikeout rate in the majors twice. So this wasn't a guy who was, 38-year-old Livan Hernandezing the ball up to the plate. He had unreal stuff. To go back to the stuff conversation, Greg Maddux had unreal shit. So like, everybody is always like, I mean, it's like every other conversation about the Tommy John velocity thing is like, well, why can't they just be like Greg Maddux, or look what Greg Maddux did? And it's like, okay, yes, there were some things that would be worth emulating, but he was not a soft tossing pitcher when he came up and established himself. Well, and he wasn't a guy that didn't have shit either. So
what everybody plays over in their head, Jay Hay, when they hear Greg Maddux's name, is they play over in their head a inside fastball 4 inches off the plate to a lefty, coming back over for strike 3, the left-hander looking bewildered as to what the fuck just happened. And they think to themselves, that doesn't look anything like 102 getting blown past somebody at the top of the fucking zone. So he has to be masterful. He has to be crafty. He was all of those things, but he also had the ability to go and get it, to go and grab a 5 if he needed to. So those are, I'm glad you said that, because I mean, that's something that I have said for years that I feel like you say so much, you don't have to say it again, do you? But there's another generation of folks who are coming up who have been taught that's how it's gone, and that's just not reality.
It's interesting. I feel like Greg Maddux, we could get him on the pod.
Would love that.
He makes the rounds
on the pod.
He's a
he
professor.
makes the rounds. Yeah. You ever meet him, Dallas?
No, I have not met him.
Okay.
I was trying to think if I had met him in spring training, but no.
That's a 2025 goal of ours.
I would that would be much like a conversation with Jim. And what I would really like is, because he's a fucking dirtball. He is an absolute dirtball. And that's where our conversations would go. Is just
Smoltz and Glavine talk about how he's the most fucked up of those guys. From
yeah. I played winter ball with a left-hander who was very close with that group coming up. And the stories, oh man. I mean, that was one of the greatest summers of my life I spent in Puerto Rico playing winter ball. And like, I felt like I really got to know a lot of those Braves pitchers on another level, just because of the time that I had spent with the individual I was with, and talking to, like, I was I was like, this is, and I had that guy tell me based on his experience with me in Puerto Rico, he was like, Maddox would have hated you for the first 5 minutes that he met you. And then the 6th minute, he probably would have thought you were like, he gave birth to you. Like you're fucked up, just like he's fucked up. I like that.
All right, put it on the list, Jake. Book Greg Maddux. I think it's time for the MLB Redraft. 2016 MLB Redraft. The draft order, just in case you forgot, Dallas Braden with the first overall pick. Justin Havens, who never picks below second and takes credit for his drafting mastermind prowess, even though he just is handed the draft every single time.
Thank you.
Joseph with the 3rd pick, and I have the 4th pick. I've never picked above 3rd.
Yeah, you're really hammering home that it doesn't bother you.
No, I mean,
because you bring up that's like the 6th mention of the draft order.
Well,
yeah,
I am bothered by it, Justin Havens.
Okay.
How about you make a fucking adjustment? Just be better.
Because like in some of these drafts, there's 2 dudes that'll have like a fucking 60 career WAR, and then the rest of the pack is like 17.8.
You know what?
It's like, no shit.
Sometimes
you won the
nerds
draft.
get so caught up in WAR. It's like,
yeah, see, don't get
just
hung
like
up on that.
expand your mind, dude. Come on.
It's not about total WAR, man.
What about batting average, man?
You're a loser.
All right.
Not about
nice of you.
WAR.
With the first pick in the 2016 MLB Redraft, Dallas Braden has selected.
I'll be honest. What do you mean? What? This sent me through a fucking. I got 4 hours of sleep thanks to this.
That's the kind of dedication we like.
I started looking at shit, and then I got sidetracked with 3 individuals, and I spent an hour and a half just looking at shit. My first overall pick is going to be Corbin Burns.
Wow.
Nice pick.
My first overall pick is Corbin Burns.
4th round by the Brewers in the real draft out of St. Mary's.
That's right.
Good pick.
And I've got some interesting notes that I want to get to at the very end of this thing. So I'll hold that. But first overall pick, Corbin Burns.
So we touched on it, and part of what makes this draft so fascinating is that you're projecting out the rest of some of these guys' careers, and in some of these cases, the entire second half of their career. Because I'm looking at this. I think the leader in the clubhouse in terms of seasons in Major League Baseball from this draft is like 6.
Yeah.
So a lot of meat left on this bone.
With the 2nd pick in the 2016 MLB Redraft, Justin Silver Spoon Havens selects.
So I think Corbin Burns was the correct number 1 overall pick. That is also where I would have gone. There are a handful of pitchers with
you fucking do it.
There are varying degrees of health and track records and stuff like that make me a little uneasy. I'm going to go with, I think, something that's going to be a little bit of a surprise pick. Because I think this guy is routinely on the list of baseball's most underrated players. I think for the position that he plays.
Yes, Jay Hay. I love it.
For the position that he plays, hang with me here. I think this guy may have the best chance at any sort of Hall of Fame case of any player. Now, I don't think he's going to get in, but any sort of Hall of Fame case that I think anyone in this class will end up having.
Wow.
I'm going behind the dish.
Yes, you are, Will Smith.
And I'm going with Will Smith. Yes, sir.
Yes, you are. Justin Havens. Yes, you are. I love that fucking pick.
Thank you.
Because on this very podcast, I have had shit talk to me about how much I love Will Smith. I have called Will Smith the fucking MVP of the Dodgers back in 2018. Nobody wanted to fucking hear it. And Will Smith, oh God, I fucking love that pick.
Thank you so much. It's 822 OPS, 124 OPS plus out of a catcher who's, entering his age 30 season. He's a little older than people think, I think, but I think he's one of the 4 or 5 best catchers in Major League Baseball at the absolute worst. And back-to-back All-Star teams. I'm taking Smith because I think his value is a little bit more stable than some of the pitchers that are available.
Wow. It's a good pick.
Thank you very much. 32nd overall pick in the real draft.
You text Joe so you know what's going on?
You not hear the fucking ringing?
See, we can't. What are we doing?
He's got no excuse.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Dallas was just about to shit talk you for not picking up. So I
yeah, say it, dude.
Yeah, say it to his face, Dallas. Fucking pussy.
Get your shit together. Answer the phone.
He did.
Hello.
First round, 3rd pick, Team Joe.
First round, 3rd pick. Did anybody pick? Can you tell me who got picked?
Corbin Burns and Will Smith.
Corbin Burns and Will Smith. All right, I'm going to have to go down my board a little then because actually I was going to go with Will Smith.
Who's 3rd on your board?
Yeah.
What?
Go down.
So you probably just go down to who's 3rd on the board.
Yeah. I'm going to go down, but that's ahead of 3rd for ahead of 3A and 3B. So now I got to pick who 3 and that.
Oh.
And you know what? I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go Adley Rutschman.
Did he? No, he can't do that. He didn't sign.
He didn't sign.
Yeah,
you dumb idiot.
Oh, wow. What a J-Hay. What a fucking Havens.
That's tough.
Pull your head out of your Havens. Let's
tough.
go.
Yeah. Classic Havens.
I was ready for that tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck, Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids or something.
So this is a really tough pick. I'm going to, oh my God.
It's your first pick. It's the 3rd pick.
First round pick.
2. There's been 2 people selected.
Boy, I'm sorry. I'm not going Shane Bangaliers for you, but I'm going to go.
I wouldn't either. Because that'd be another Havens move.
Another Havens if you go Bangaliers there.
There's so many guys. There are
I love guys, 40 rounds worth.
Hundreds of people were drafted.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Shane Bieber.
Shane Bieber.
God damn it.
Shane Bieber goes to Team Joe with the 3rd overall pick in the 1st round. Thank you, Joe. We'll call you back for the 2nd round.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fourth round in the real draft. I mean, Bieber's maybe one of the most fascinating names in the whole list because if we did this a couple of years ago, he's the 1st overall pick, and now he's coming off of season-ending surgery. What does the rest of Shane Bieber's career look like?
Jay, this is what sent me, and we'll talk about it, but that is what sent me down. That's why I went to bed at fucking 2:47 this morning, is because I was like, no. And then my heartstrings, then I started getting emotional. I mean, his peak qualitatively is every bit as good as Corbin Burns. Think about what the fucking conversation we're having right now across baseball is who's going to land Corbin Burns because of what he brings to the table, what that fucking payday is going to look like for Corbin Burns. And now look at those fucking numbers from Shane Bieber. Look at those numbers from Shane Bieber. And you tell me he can't hold. What the fuck? Sign that guy up. Give him the fucking bank.
Well, he's got to be
fucking dagger. The motherfuck. He gets clipped.
Yeah.
The velo ticks, and now he can't get a fucking sniff. Now Now he's got to take a 14 mil fucking flyer. What the fuck? This fucking dude. Look at those fucking numbers and what Corbin Burns is about to get. God damn.
I think I know you can't maintain these numbers over a full season, but like his career almost doesn't have the pop that it should because of the Cy Young coming in the shortened season.
The 2020 season?
You look at it and it's like, oh, he threw 77 in a 3rd innings pitch that year. And it's like, he also had 122 strikeouts and 46 hits allowed. Like he was basically as dominant as a player can possibly be over 12 starts. He had 3.2 wins above replacement in 12 starts.
And then look at the season before that, right?
Yeah.
That's when he was the fucking All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah, I mean it is a question of timing for sure, because he gets every bit the contract that Corbin Burns does if he enters free agency with the same level of health. And I know this isn't a war draft, right? But like when you're hemming and hawing over these guys, Will Smith and Shane Bieber have almost the exact same career wins above replacement to this point and are almost the exact same age. And I'm looking at that and I'm being like, well, one of these guys is a healthy catcher and the other is a guy coming off of season-ending surgery who's not exactly been a total picture of durability in his brief career. And it's like, okay, which of those guys would reasonably be expected to produce more over the rest of their careers? And while the upside for Shane Bieber is probably higher, I think the vast majority of sim cases would lead you to Will Smith. It's just part of what makes this particular draft fascinating. Jared, so much meat left on that bone for you, man. Good for you. Fourth pick, a lot of people are saying it's the best spot in this draft.
I'm not going to say it's the best spot, but I'm very happy with my first round pick. I don't know that I would have... if I had the second round pick, I would have made the same pick. Or excuse me, the second overall pick. If I had the second overall pick, I would have made... your mother is a motherfucking piece of shit. I just dropped my fucking shake all over my lap. Zach Gallen, first round, fourth overall pick. Zach Gallen.
The standard. You know what I'm really fucking upset about now is I had you going somewhere else, and I expected to walk away with one of the latter two.
I mean, I got to be honest with you, DB. If you would have walked away with Burns and Gallen to top this draft, I think you would have gotten the votes. May still get the votes, of course, but third round pick by the Cardinals in the original 2016 draft was Zach Gallen. Just a reminder, he came over in that abysmal trade that sent him, Sandy Alcantara, to then other people to the Marlins for Marcell Ozuna. That is a tough sequence for the Cardinals. Nice pick with Gallen.
Oh man. All right. I wasn't sure. I guess I don't know if I'm shocked. Maybe I'm shocked.
I know who you're going because you're a coward.
What's that?
I said, I know where you're going because you're a coward.
Zach Gallen.
No, that was a good pick, buddy.
Yeah.
We were just praising it while you clean yourself up.
Yep. Great pick. Very good pick.
So excited. Jared just blew his fucking.
Well, you also prevented Dallas from locking down this draft in 2 rounds by getting Burns and Gallen back to back. That would have been tough.
If I get Gallen, it's fucking curtains.
Yeah. That's
so who are you going to take?
See, this is where it's like, oh man, like, do I have to? Am I catering to the Discord here? Like,
yeah, you are.
What are their thoughts?
I'm not. I'm doing what my heart tells me is right, and Discord will follow because they're good people. Remember, I said that. That was Justin who said that.
With my second pick, I think. Give me Brino. I'm doing it. Give me Brino. Brian Reynolds.
Second round pick by the Giants in 2016. B. Reynolds. That's not the direction I had you going, if I'm going to be honest with you.
You had me taking the other fella?
I did. I did, and I'm going to go ahead and clean that up for you. He is not my personal favorite player, but I think the value here in the second round is probably about as good as this gets in a redraft. I'm going to take the currently unsigned polar bear, Pete Alonso.
That's a good pick, I guess.
Second round of 2016 out of Florida.
I just see like contextually with everything you laid out with the prior pick, like that's how I feel about Pete Alonso. Is all right, you know,
he's
value. I think Brian Reynolds, I like that better.
That's fine.
Hello.
Second round, third pick of the second round. Dallas took Brian Reynolds. J.A. took Pete Alonso, and I rounded out the first round with Zach Gallen.
So you guys picked all the good players. How this usually works.
Mm-hmm.
Best players get picked first, I find,
Mm-hmm.
in this draft.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to have to pivot down towards closer to the end of my board, unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
Let me take a gamble.
Okay.
Man,
What do you got?
man, oh man, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
What would you pick? Would you pick Tommy Edman or Michael King?
No,
Those are options.
I'm not going to answer that.
Who would you pick next, guy? Bo Bichette or Tommy Edman? That's the real question.
Mm.
It's crazy. That's a fucking question, by the way.
Mm.
Not because you're
Oh,
wrong, but
um,
because of
How
where
it
Bo
stacks
was.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Bo Bichette, fall from grace. He's got time to make it up. I'm not writing him off completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll consider
Well, you
him.
got to think about what you could do with him. You get him into your lab and you
Yeah.
work with Bo. I mean, this is an alternate reality. Maybe what his career has been missing is a little Joe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Joe
going to be on a
knows
team
Bo.
with a lot of managers.
You got to get him in the Joe lab.
He comes from Major League pedigree. His father was in the league.
Is that true?
Many years. It's true.
It's true.
Although, as we're saying this, I'm now kind of, maybe we just bypass Bichette and we take a look at what you could do with a good guy like Kevin Biggio. I think
It's
that
true.
could be really nice value for you here.
Ooh.
Also, Ian
Yeah.
Anderson's still out there, Joe.
Oh yeah, I don't think I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the alternate reality
Well-
with Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
Ian Anderson, what a good guy.
Great guy.
You can just tell deep down he cares. But unfortunately, I'm not going Ian Anderson. I'm going to go with Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman. Okay, so you didn't pick the guy that I wanted. I love that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Joe. I'll cut back for the third round.
You.
Tommy Edman, 6th round of 2016 by the Cards, of course.
Okay. I'm gonna write down my third round pick. I'm gonna write down my third round pick and just leave him right there, just so I can manifest. My pick, 2nd round, 8th overall, Michael King. Thank you, Joe, for leaving him on the board for me. More than happy to take Michael King, 2nd round. And I even, like I said, I've got my 3rd round pick sitting right there. He's already penciled in. Already wrote his name in. He's mine.
Dallas, Michael King. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's-
I wonder if I can
that
get
is-
this pick in the 4th round, though.
I mean, if we're talking what was contributed in 2024, I mean, I still think Michael King's 24 is going a little under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Dallas, you're back up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Bo Bichette, sure.
All right.
Sure. Twist my arm.
Yeah, if you just want to hand him to me.
Yep.
No problem.
I mean, maybe it's the Toronto thing, but I mean, I don't think we talked enough about, or people don't talk enough about, like, how atrociously bad Bo Bichette's season was last year. Like,
It was markedly bad.
and I know, like, it was injury plagued as well, and that he was quite good in the season in 2023. But, like, fascinated to see what Bo Bichette is moving forward, because this was supposed to be a cornerstone level player.
Well, there's a. I think that whole group needs a change of scenery. I think Bo would benefit from that. I think Vlad would benefit from that. I think that dance has danced itself out.
He was a 4 to 5 win player basically every year from 21 to 23, and he was below replacement level last year. Maybe it's just a lost season. Maybe he just wasn't healthy and it was never going to happen. Nice buy low by you.
Great buy low.
Third round value.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay. Well, not much of a track record on this guy, but that was true of Michael King too. I think he's certainly at the caliber of Michael King. Yeah,
Lefty.
I'm going to go off of one season of excellence and maybe a half season in 23 if we want to give him credit for that. Fourth in the AL Cy Young in 2024, Cole Reagans.
Cole Reagans.
Cole Reagans.
It's a Team J Hay in the third round.
I mean, if we're talking about what the expectations are for a given player in 2025 among people that have been drafted, I got to think the expectations for Cole Reagans are damn near as high as anybody, maybe except for Corbin Burns. Doesn't have Gallen's track record, of course, but I'm pretty happy in the third round getting Cy Young contender.
There you go.
Hello?
It went Michael King, Bo Bichette, Cole Reagans.
You guys fell right into my trap.
Oh.
Yeah, played you like a fiddle.
Okay.
So now that some of those guys are off the board, I can circle back up to the top.
Yeah.
And, we're doing 4 rounds, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to go with Sean Murphy.
Okay, that's not a bad pick at all.
It's the only pick.
That's the only pick. All right, yeah, I like that pick. I know I'm going to be able to get my 4th round guy. No one's
Who?
picking. I'm not telling you.
Who is it, though?
I'm not telling you. But I know who I'm going to. I know I'm going to get my 3rd round pick because it's my pick right now. So I'm guaranteed to get my 3rd round pick that I want.
I can still reverse my pick. Reverse pick.
Well, I didn't tell you who I was going to pick.
I reversed my Sean Murphy pick. I can pick whoever I want now.
Well, who do you want to pick?
I'm going with David Bednar. Is that it?
Are you going to stick with Bednar over Sean Murphy?
Well, was that going to be your pick?
No.
Okay, then I'll stay with Murph.
All right. You can have Murph.
All right, Murphy.
All right, we'll call you back for the last round.
See ya.
Bye-bye. All right, so the guy that I wrote in here is still out there. I can have him if I want him. But I'm between him and another guy. And then there's a Havens out here that I would love to. I mean, this would have been the sneakiest Havens pick of all. George Kirby, who did not sign. So
Yeah, trust me, I was all over that.
yeah, George Kirby did not sign after being selected in this draft. I think I'm going to go with a guy that's solely based on potential. Like if I went to go watch this dude pitch in college or high school,
Really?
I would be like, yeah, I'm taking that guy. Are you shitting me?
Really?
Talking stuff? What, Dallas? It's not who you think.
No?
No, it's not, because I trust me, I was looking somewhere else and I saw his name and I was like, feel like people probably didn't catch him, but I caught him. Don't worry about that.
Where? What? Where? I mean, if you're thinking future, I mean, I have this guy written down too, but I don't.
I'm thinking immediate. Like he's pitched in the big leagues, obviously, but he
Sure. I'm
as far
intrigued.
as stuff goes, I don't think I've ever seen stuff like this.
I hope you enjoy it in side sessions.
Oh wow.
Then you got to watch out for the throat.
Wow. You guys are haters. I think you guys are just mad that I am getting this guy.
You are selecting a great hypothetical ball player.
Wow.
Go get him.
With the
Make him
final
yours.
pick of the 3rd round, Team Rocket selects Dustin May. Dustin May off the board. No one talking about him. I get he might be a reliever this year, but the stuff that's fine. Like he might be a reliever for the Dodgers in 2025, but we are going to be using him as a starting pitcher, and we are going to keep him healthy. And we know that he has the best stuff out of any pitcher in this draft.
I'm not going to dispute the stuff thing. I do find, and this is not breaking news on Dustin May, I do find it interesting that the swing and miss and the strikeouts have never matched up with the stuff.
Hey, he's Gratterall.
Yeah, Gratterall.
That's fine.
Gratterall effect.
That's fine. But I mean, that's fine. But if he's Gratterall, then maybe you hyped him up a little too much.
Well, no, as far as if it's stuff, Jay Hay, and you got a fucking K per 9 sub-7 and it's stuff, well, what kind of stuff? What kind of stuff is it?
Good pick. Good scouting pick. I'm interested to see what Jared's lab can do with Dustin May.
We're going to do crazy shit with him. We have steroids here.
We have steroids here.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Dustin's that kind of guy. Dallas, you're up.
Oh man, see, I've thought about because what we're finding out through this draft process is we are starting to value potential upside, future performance.
Oh, sure. It's the 4th round.
Yeah,
we're starting to value. Like, are you looking to just tack on some war points in the 4th round? Like, is that an approach? Is that so?
Just stop talking around it and take fucking Urseg.
Is that who you guys thought I was?
Yeah, that's literally who I was talking about. I was like, I was looking at the fucking infielders, and I was like, oh, okay, I recognize this name.
There's so many people left in this draft that are like old infatuations of Dallas Braden, like AJ Puck still kicking around, Urseg. We got Luzardo,
Brent Rooker is a Havens in this.
Yep, Brent Rooker. Trust me, I was all over that too. I was like, ooh, Rook Daddy.
Yeah.
I can put you on right now. Put you on right now.
Oh, another one. T squared. Taylor Trammell.
T squared. Yep.
Is,
Taylor Trammell.
Was in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you taking?
But I think Tobias Myers, come on down.
What?
Wow.
Yes. We're talking future.
I'm going to be honest. That is a legitimately out of left field pick. I'm not saying it's bad. 138 innings, 3 flat
starts
ERA
last year. Yeah.
Tobias Myers.
Tobias Myers. Correct. 4th round rookie, sitting on a 3, 138 innings. Give it to me.
Okay.
Give it to me. 25 years old, ready to pitch the crew right into October.
Okay. Jay, hey, your final selection.
I'm going to take a similar stab on upside, I guess, but with a guy who's seems like he's been around for quite a long time. I just mentioned him. Still entering only his age 27 season. And I know last year was rough and injury prone, or injury riddled. But I liked the Cubs rumor that they were looking into this guy. I'm going to continue on the buy low train, and I'm going to bring Jesus Luzardo into the fold. 3rd round of the 2016 draft. It was only 2023 when he made 32 starts and had a 3.58 ERA with a K per 9 over 10. So
it's a fine pick.
Thank you.
It's a fine pick.
Hello.
It went Dustin May, Tobias Myers, Jesus Luzardo to you.
Did someone pick Gonzalez?
No, you can have.
You just did.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick Tobias Myers?
Buddy, because he's about to fucking light it up. What are you talking about?
Who cares? Who cares what he's gonna do?
I do.
I mean, that's part of it. You're forecasting as well.
All right, but are we trying to win the draft and get the votes tomorrow?
For me personally, I'm drafting the best team that makes me happy, knowing that the voters will never vote for me no matter what. So I just...
why won't they? They won't vote for you for no matter what. Why?
I'm not
because
very
Jay Hay's in the
likable,
Discord cultivating a nerd following. That's why.
Yeah, like Jay Hay is in there stroking it to the Discord.
Yep, just,
and like I go in there from time to time,
fans, no doubt.
But I lurk in the Reddit. Like I don't go on the Discord because I still don't quite understand it, and I find Reddit to be more user friendly than Discord. So yeah, I'm more of a Reddit darling than a Discord guy. But
Reddit's algorithm is too powerful. It renders it unusable. I did a few UFO deep dives this week, and now my entire thing is UFOs.
Ooh.
All baseball has been wiped off of it. It's so annoying.
Well, you got to subscribe to the
I'm
threads.
Subscribing. I mean, I'm subscribed to Baseball is Dead. Yeah.
My Reddit page, my subscriptions, I know one of them is smartwatches. My communities, Baseball is Dead, Section 10 podcast, Squared Circle, which is wrestling, Breaking Bad, The Kirk Minahan Show, MLB, and Red Sox. And
Breaking
you can,
Bad's
star
kind of,
them.
it's funny that you're on a Breaking Bad Reddit when it's been off the air for like 10 years.
Yeah. I just still love it.
No, it's a great show. No
Yeah.
hate. Who's Joey's pick?
Joey picked Tony Gonsolin,
Tony
right?
Gonsolin.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you just asked if he was available.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go just to have a balanced team with all my bases covered. I'm gonna go with Bednar.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, you've long been rumored to be linked together.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. I got a Sada. I got a catcher. I got a shortstop, and now I got a freaking closer.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the most important positions on the field. No, starting pitcher, closer, shortstop, catcher.
That's the spine.
3
baby.
to 4. Yeah.
You got the spine going.
I have all 4.
Yeah, you might
I
have
have
the most
all
powerful
4.
team.
Yeah.
You have
not
one of the
sure
4
if
best
you guys-
teams.
I'm not sure you guys have all your bases covered like that.
No, you might have the most well-rounded team in the whole draft.
Damn.
No love for Gavin Lux in this draft, huh?
Well, you could take him.
I could. I won't, but I could.
Sounds like no love then.
Nathaniel Lowe still out there?
Or Josh Lowe. Wait, no, is this the same Josh Lowe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Josh Lowe,
Josh Lowe still out there. Nolan Jones, I considered. Lucas Irsig, I'm considering. I know who I'm taking, though. It's not Kevin Biggio. With the final pick in the 2016 MLB Re-Draft, Team Rocket selects
Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck.
I believe that is the first player with a negative WAR to be drafted in the draft, in the redraft.
You can watch your fucking mouth. Your team sucks, dude.
Quick rundown. Dallas has Corbin Burns, Brian Reynolds, Bo Bichette, and Tobias Myers. I have Will Smith, Pete Alonso, Cole Reagans, and Jesus Luzardo. Joey has a well-rounded team of Shane Bieber, Tommy Edman, Sean Murphy, and David Bednar. And the Rocket has Zach Gallen, Michael King, Dustin May, and Bobby D.
Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck.
Three pitchers and Bobby Dahlbeck.
I mean, he pitched in college for Arizona.
So 4 pitchers.
Should probably look into that again.
Yeah, we didn't. We haven't determined how we're going to use him yet.
I I think pitcher. I say go for it. I say just go with that upside thing because I think we know what the upside is as a hitter. It's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I just let him get on the mound and let it eat. Because what the fuck, it doesn't matter.
Good defensive first baseman, can play some third base as well. Also, statistically, the best hitter in the American League in the second half of 2021.
Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck.
What a half a year that was.
It really was. Got us to the playoffs. Joe, how do you feel you did?
I think that I won. Jay read the names off really fast, so I didn't really get, to take them all in. I mean, you guys got some great teams too. So but I think that I have the best team just because I got one of everything and the most important positions. I got a Cy Young winner. I got an all-star closer, multiple-time all-star and Sean Murphy, platinum glover, and Tommy Edman. I got how many World Series do I got on this team? Shit. One.
Shit.
That's
I
more
think
than
just
you
one
guys,
World
probably.
Series. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Good job, dude. Yeah, good job.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of you. Proud of you. All right. Thank you, Joe.
See you Monday.
See you Monday.
See ya.
See ya.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that draft quite a bit.
Yep, me too.
Yes.
At no point, usually because I always have a shitty draft position because the Lord looks down upon me for some reason. Usually there's a point in every draft so far where I'm like, fuck. But it didn't happen today. I think I would have had that moment had Joe taken Michael King. I would have been pissed about that. All right, now I FaceTime Dallas to find out the draft order for next week and the year that we'll be drafting. Ready, Dallas?
Ready.
Okay. This is the year. 2019. We will be redrafting 2019. Okay, so this will be Dallas. Joey.
Why you got to put my name in first? I feel like that fucks up my odds of getting back to the top
Jared.
there. See, you're putting your
Ooh,
name.
this
Justin.
is fun. This is fun.
Ready for the draft order?
Yeah.
Ready. Let's go!
Fucking motherfucker! Every fucking
go!
time! Every fucking time! Every fucking time!
Let's go!
Dallas, Joey, me, and Jay. Jay's picking last.
I'll clean it up as usual. No problem.
Jay's picking last, but I have yet to pick above third.
Oh.
This is the fucking 7th draft. How many of these have we fucking done?
4.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's not 7.
It ain't
This
7
is
and it ain't
this
5
is
and
at
it
least
ain't
the
3.
this is at least the 5th.
No.
Plenty of meat on this bone, though.
Oh,
The
yeah.
2019 draft.
Adley went number 1 overall. You got Bobby Witt. You got Riley Green. You got Corbin Carroll. You got the aforementioned George Kirby.
Wow.
A lot
It's
of
a
talent.
banger.
Everybody in the
banger.
first round is going to get somebody cool. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who's picking second?
Joey.
Joseph.
Joey. So, Joey's going to take Adley Rutschman.
Because
If
Bobby
he wants
Witt's
to make
going
a mistake.
Oh.
If he wants to
All
make
right,
a
hey,
mistake.
we're already saying too much.
All
We're
right.
already saying too much.
Whoa.
We're not doing the redraft now. We're saying too much. The
Joe will lock in
29
that closer.
MLB redraft is next week. Is it next week? Because isn't Thursday Christmas?
I
What
got
fucking
shit to
day
do on
is next Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday is, I believe, the day after
The day
Christmas.
after Christmas. All right, so game on. Game on. Unless you guys
If we're
are scared.
potting the day after Christmas, I'm going to go ahead and request that we get that out of the way as early as possible.
That's fine.
I have to pick people up at the airport.
That's fine.
Cool.
Sounds like you're scared, but
No.
Okay.
Nope. No, it's actually, I'm excited because it's going to be a good opportunity to pick fourth and wax your ass anyway.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
talking all that shit in the hood. Ain't got no
Shit.
money, but the fuck
I'm
is
excited
up?
because it's a good opportunity to download the Underdog Fantasy app. Just head on over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code Jared, that's Jared, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Shout out to Underdog. Doing big things in 2025 with Underdog. I'll tell you that right now. You've already been scheming. We've been scheming with the dog. And if you thought 2024 was great and we brought you a lot of content that you've been waiting for from us, well, 2025, it's
buckle up, man.
Even fucking bigger. It's going to be bigger. All of us. Now,
It's going to be the biggest content season of all time
ever.
to this point.
Ever.
Presumably 26 will even be bigger, but 25
Yes.
will be the biggest to that point.
To that point. Yeah. And it's not a baby step. It's a one giant leap for man and all that other shit.
Yeah,
that
pod
he
kind.
said. Yep. I'm going to let you choose, Justin Havens. Would you like to do the 2009 Cy Young Hindsight, or would you like to do some Family Feud right now?
Nope, I want Feud is always the top priority. Let's get to Feud.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
It's always good to hear the music. Welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. So Jared stepped out last week. He was in Disney, for those of you who forgot. And Mike Emond graciously stepped up in his absence. Unfortunately, Mike did all he could, but Dallas had one of his worst weeks of all time last week. I believe
I outscored Mike. I mean,
no.
No.
We went over that. You got half of his points.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember, you guys only got 100. You guys only got 150 something. Remember, and he got 104.
Oh yeah,
right
he got
off
like
the bat.
104.
Dow.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, very difficult Family Feud. Okay, so this one is not on that level. There are some hard questions, but there are some questions that have jackpot answers that almost single-handedly can drive you to the title here. So definitely in play. Who's going first? Who's going second?
I believe it's my turn to go first.
All right, Dallas, pop those off, and then maybe, we'll just budget 15 minutes on the back end for you to reconnect.
Well, dude, I don't know what the fuck happened.
I know. We know you. I know you do not know. I also don't. But
you guys are watching me.
No, I know. Just do it gently. Okay. All right.
15 minutes on the back.
Jake will have to edit that out, but
yeah.
Or not. All right. Jared, are you ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
Okay. Out of 100 BID fans, here are the results. Question number 1. What is the best Christmas song?
The Mariah Carey one.
I'll give it to you. On a 10-point scale, 1 to 10, in other words, how many points of aura did Max Fried lose upon signing with the Yankees? So, for example, if he was a 10 before and he's a 9 now, he lost 1 point.
It's 7.
Lost 7 points?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. When I say the first name Mark, who is the first baseball player, active or retired, who comes to mind?
Teixeira.
Jeff Passan came out with a story on the deteriorating situation with the Tampa Bay Rays ballpark. If the franchise is eventually relocated to a new city, what city should that be? Not will, should.
Montreal.
When we look back at his career after retirement, how many total MVPs, he has 0 right now, how many total MVPs will Juan Soto have won?
2.
Thank you. Dallas, pop those bad boys back on.
This guy.
Dallas?
Hey!
Oh, there we go. Just a gentle touch is all it took.
Good for us.
Look at that.
Who knew not throwing them across the room would improve the performance?
They're so fucking sensitive.
I'm on the
All right,
boat.
you ready? Dallas.
Let's do this.
Here's the deal, buddy. So it actually creates a nice opportunity for you, what I'd like to call a bounce back opportunity, because Jared got you close enough where you guys can win, but he left enough meat on this bone where you're going to have to pick it up. He got 81 points. Okay.
All right.
So there, obviously the math there is you need 119. I will say Jared did you a favor. He left 2 of the 3 big money answers on the board. He got one of them. He left 2 of the 3 on the board. If you get those, you are cooking with gas, my friend. Okay.
Okay.
Don't panic though. Do panic. People like it.
Feel
But,
like there's a lot of pressure already.
okay. Are you ready?
Let's roll.
As always, it's out of 100 BID fans, and here are the results. Question number 1. What is the best Christmas song?
Jingle bells?
On a 10-point scale, 1 to 10 in other words, how many points of aura did Max Fried lose upon signing with the Yankees? So, for example, if he was a 10 before and he's a 9 now, he lost 1 point of aura. How many did he lose?
6.
When I say the first name, Mark.
McGuire.
Who? Jeff Passan came out with a story on the deteriorating situation with the Tampa Bay Rays ballpark. If the franchise eventually relocates to a new city, what city should, not will, should it be?
Montreal. Fuck! Nashville.
When we look back at his career after retirement, how many total MVPs will Juan Soto have won? He has 0 now.
3.
Thank you, Dallas.
I thought we would have had more double answers.
Are we ready to go through this?
I think
This is going to be good. We're starting with 81. What is the best Christmas song? Jared, in his initial answer, said the Mariah Carey song, which he got credit for. The answer, that is called All I Want for Christmas Is You. That is I agree with you. That's my favorite. That was 3rd. That got you 8 points. Obviously, an incredible spread on this question. Dallas came through with the second most common answer, which was Jingle Bells, and 13 points. So with that, you are up to 94. So we're going to need to pick up the pace.
What was the first answer?
Last Christmas.
Last Christmas. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Jingle Bell Rock, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Santa Claus Is Coming to Town were all the answers that received 4 or more votes.
I almost said war is over.
I was going to drop the Santa baby.
That would have gotten you 1 point, so it's a good thing you didn't do that. This is Christmas. I'm not seeing that. It's
No,
kind of a
war
surprise.
is
Maybe
over.
that's called, it's called War is Over.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that. I think because nobody knows it's called War is Over. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I think
nobody
that's
answered
2
it.
names.
94 is where we're at right now with 4 questions left. The Max Fried Aura question,
Happy
which shout out to
Christmas, war
Corey
is over.
Brinson shouted this out as being too complicated for people
Yes.
reading very quickly. That's probably true. I ignored that feedback though. Max Fried, Aura lost. Jared said he lost 7 points of Aura. That was worth 9 points. Dallas said he lost 6 points of Aura. That was worth 11 points. So good answers there. The correct answer, and I think had we been considering the Discord a little more strongly, was 10 points of Aura.
Oh, wow.
15 was the correct, or the point total there. So again, a nice spread here. Dallas got you 11. We're chugging along. We're up to 105. We need 95 points with 3 questions left. Did DB come through for us? Let's find out. When I say the first name, Mark, I didn't even get through the question. Dallas got it. Mark McGuire, 52 points.
Wow.
Teixeira was tied for the number 2 answer, Jared, to your credit, but only 6. So McGuire was the overwhelming answer here. Mark Bellhorn was the other one that was tied for second.
Mark Bellhorn.
Bellhorn, Kotze, Reynolds, Canna, Vientos, DeRosa, Grace, Leiter, Loretta, Pryor, and Trumbo all received multiple votes. So that brings us up. That's a big jump. That's now 157 with 2 questions left. So we need 43 points across 2 questions. The Jeff Passan Tampa Bay Rays, where should they go? Jared said Montreal. That was the second most common answer with 15.
That's insane. I feel like I'm drilling these and they're just going over the backboard.
We need 43 points. Is this the one where Dallas delivered the big mama?
No,
he said Nashville.
And that's how you're framing it. I know you too well.
He said Nashville. 53 points. They
go!
did it, folks.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
That brings you up to a clean 210. And just to round it out, the last answer or the last question, Juan Soto MVPs. Jared got the big ticket item here with 2. That was worth 43 points. That was more than half of his total point contribution just on this question. And Dallas got the second most common answer, which was 3, which was 23, which means your grand total goes up to 233 points overall for you two.
That's right. Right.
Wow.
To go back to the passing question really fast, Oakland and Charlotte were tied for third with 9 votes each. Shout out to Paris, who managed to get a vote. Also, Atlantis got a vote. Thank you for taking that question seriously. And also Puerto Rico, not a city. So always worth using this as an educational opportunity as well. So, so that's Baseball is Dead. You guys bounced back in a big way. Congratulations.
Wow, that was huge. Yeah. Dallas MVP carried me. I felt like, some of those answers that I gave were correct. They just didn't register with the Discord. I mean, Montreal should have been the number one answer.
It's starting to feel like more and more you're developing a deep beef with the Discord, and
it's happening. Yeah.
And I'm trying to do everything I can. Like I said, I went in and started tracking the Discord, figured out how to navigate it. Super easy. Try it yourself. And the feedback, it feels like it's a swamp, and Jay Hay is he's the biggest crocodile in that swamp. So you and me, we're going to get a John boat. We're going to get a couple 22s, a spotlight, and we're going to figure some shit out, Jared.
What is that thing called?
Swamp people.
No, in the Everglades, that boat that has
Airboat.
the giant fan on it. What are those called?
It's airboat.
An airboat. We need an airboat. Yeah. Yep. We need to navigate those waters.
A lot of words to say that I'm invested in our fan base. Thank you guys so much.
Come find me on the Baseball is Dead Reddit page. That's where.
Speaking of, find you on the Baseball is Dead Reddit page, telling people to shut up.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah. I just do that in my day-to-day life. Like I just, this is how I feel.
This obviously.
Where's the episode? Shut the fuck up.
It's such a good response, though. It's like the heckle at the fucking ball game where it's 9-2. It's the 4th inning. I've been getting my ass absolutely kicked, and it's quiet because nobody cares, and all you can hear is, "Hey, you suck." You're like,
well, I'll
Reddit.
say this. I'll say this about the Reddit world is in the earlier years, it used to be that the Section 10 fans were like, oh, we're clearly the favorite and starting 9 is playing second fiddle. And now it's the other way around where it's like, well, he never misses a Baseball is Dead. And where's fucking Section 10? It's clear what his priority is. Like it's switched over the years. And it's just like, no, like Dallas and Jay Hay are just much easier to coordinate. Whereas like
that is
trying to wrangle fucking Tyler Milliken and Steve and Coley.
That's a problem.
Getting everyone on board for the same day, the same time is infinitely more difficult than getting Jay Hay and Dallas to record in the morning.
That is also what Jake had told me privately at different points, was that we're just much easier to produce and just extremely pleasant people generally.
Professional, I think, is a word that gets thrown around.
He did use professional. That's right. That's what it was.
Yep. Tyler Milliken, not a word I would use. Professional.
No, I mean, more often than not, I've seen him without a shirt on. That's
right.
Not totally professional.
Disgusting. Just say the right word. It's disgusting.
It's not my favorite look.
Revolting?
Oh,
Well, that's a little
that's
harsh.
mean.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
mean
that's mean.
spirited.
This
Take
does
it
not
back,
include today's feud, but while we were recording, Discord came through with an updated feud numbers. So these will change a little bit, but I wanted to share a little insight for the listeners and you guys as well. All time, so that includes the 24 regular season and postseason. Dallas's average points per round is 95.37, and Jared's is 118.24. Okay.
Wow.
If you break that will obviously switch a little. They'll get a little tighter after this one. Going first, Dallas averages 106, and going second, he averages 85. So we've seen the Dallas going second pressure narrative build. The numbers, the numbers back it up. They don't lie, folks.
Sure do,
They don't lie.
There's
Starting
something
to
there.
develop a track record here.
Jared's breakdown, he also does better going first, but it's not nearly as extreme, 121 versus 115. So we will see where this all goes from here. Dallas eyeballing it. Looks like he got about 152 points from this
that'll help
last
the
round.
average.
So yeah, these are going to get closer. But anyway, another round of feud. Good job, guys.
Wow, another win. Another win for the boys. Congrats to us. Congrats to Dallas, MVP of the day. Again, it's one of those things where like I might have gone 0 for 4, but I didn't punch out 4 times. I had like 116 exit velos just right at someone.
Yeah, you got couple line outs. We may have gotten a double off, right?
Yeah.
Second and third, less than 1 out, little aggressive, liner in the hole. You got our guy picked off at third. It happens. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I still, I didn't feel bad about my answers that were just way off. Like the Mariah Carey song, feel like I drilled that one. And then again, doubling down on this, Montreal was the correct answer. I think the Discord fucked that one up, but
Well, that's not the way you're going to ingratiate yourself to the Discord.
that tide is never turning. So
What
I
about
can
the
just skip my
same-
mind.
It's the same unappreciative idiots who don't know who Anna Benson is. I didn't mean
that
the
pick
idiot
flopped.
part.
Don't take that out on them.
Right.
Are we ready for some hindsight?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do
Take
this
us
one.
all the way back so many years to the last time the Yankees won a World Series title, 2009.
Yeah, that's the psychosis that has happened to their fan base in those 15 years. So I'm going to do this one a little differently because I want a little bit more group participation from you guys, since this isn't digging up 1970 something. These are seasons we all experienced. So I'm going to run through the stats end because I think these are actually a little more clear cut than we typically do. So we'll start with the NL. Tim Lincecum was the 2009 NL Cy Young Award winner. That was his second consecutive Cy Young at the time. He had also won in 08. In 09, the season we're talking about, he led the NL in both F WAR and B WAR, 7.6 and 7.4. So there was clear-cut alignment there. He also led the NL in strikeouts with 261 and FIP with 2.34. He was second in ERA behind only Chris Carpenter and third in innings pitched behind Adam Wainwright and Dan Herron. This was the second season of what we will remember as the 4-year stretch where Tim Lincecum, grabbed the headlines of baseball and was arguably one of the premier, gotta see him pitchers that was going at the time from 08 to 2011 before things went completely sideways after that. His average season was 220 innings pitched with a 2.81 ERA, 244 strikeouts, and about 5.5 wins above replacement per season. What I found to be most fascinating going back through this vote, and I definitely remember now that I jogged my memory, was just how split and close this vote was and the lack of consensus that happened, which I think is doubly interesting because Lincecum was the reigning winner. So you feel like maybe in some ways it wouldn't have been that split because he was a consensus winner. He got 23 of, I believe, the 32 first place votes that were issued in the NL in 2008. In 2009, that just wasn't the case. Here's how it broke down. Listen carefully. Tim Lincecum received 100 vote points. Chris Carpenter received 94 and Adam Wainwright received 90. And the twist there is that Adam Wainwright actually received the most first place votes. He had more first place votes than Tim Lincecum did that year, 12-11. So, knowing all of that, what is the conclusion here, or what is the secondary conversation? I'm not knocking on any doors in the NL. I'm not taking away Tim Lincecum's Cy Young. I think it was the best season at the time. What?
Mariah Carey. It's the 30th anniversary.
Oh, that's wow.
Mm-hmm. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's fine. 30 years. Time flies, man.
Big time.
Lincecum, as I said, was the statistical leader in both wins above replacement. And while that is not going to be the end-all, be-all, there was no other stat that any of these other candidates were definitively better than him. Chris Carpenter had a slightly lower ERA. He also threw more than 30 fewer innings pitched. He faced 155 fewer batters than Tim Lincecum did. Adam Wainwright would have his own case. He had 233 innings pitched and 970 batters faced. So that was greater quantity than even Tim Lincecum faced. But Tim Lincecum's mix of swing and miss dominance and bulk is what wins the day for me. And I just think that this is, again, never what I'm going to make my number one criteria. But I do think part of the goal of the MVP hindsight thing, at least in our little world, is to rectify or correct the narrative history of Major League Baseball as well, and like what these things mean in hindsight. And to me, this era was Tim Lincecum. And
oh yeah,
I think Wainwright would be the candidate that I would elevate above Carpenter if I was going to give it to somebody else. But I think Lincecum was the guy.
Chris Carpenter stole the Cy Young from Adam Wainwright here.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's what happened. That's what happened. Because if you're able to really focus on what Wainwright has done, and you don't even have the conversation in your head about Carpenter, you look at Wainwright, and the conversation of bulk and dominance is a more palatable conversation. There's more of an argument to be had there for Wainwright than it is for Carpenter. And so I think just the success that Carpenter had, there's no denying that. You can't ignore that. That would be completely ignorant. But I believe that those two in the same rotation, having the types of years that they did, it did not allow Adam Wainwright's season to shine, comparatively speaking, to that of Lincecum, simply because the dude who was taking the ball the day after him was also dealing.
I also think it was a legitimately hard year to find the correct answer, because if you look at the guys who received votes but were not real serious threats to win, like Javier Vasquez and Dan Herron, like statistically had years that were really comparable to the stuff that that Lincecum and Wainwright and Carpenter were doing. Like, again, it's just one stat, but like, here are the wins above replacement totals for the 5 people who received votes: 7-4, 6-5, 6-3, 6-2, 6-5. Like, that's not
this. What that very well may be one of the closer races from 1 to 5 that we're going to go over, that we're going to see.
No question. I just don't think it really gets any closer than this. But for the reasons that I laid out, as well as the softer narrative reasons, I do think that the correct answer here was Tim Lincecum. I will say for Chris Carpenter, I mean, there are very few pitchers who were as locked. I feel like Chris Carpenter, you never knew whether he was going to be on the mound, but when he was on the mound, like at least the Cardinals era Chris Carpenter, he was awesome, and he was always going to deliver. And I know his postseason track record is excellent, and that's part of obviously what's influenced. He has a 3 flat ERA and 108 career postseason innings, so he was a very, very good pitcher for some really, really relevant teams. And then you got Wainwright as well, who I know there's been like a whole second part of the Adam Wainwright experience for younger fans where they don't necessarily remember what Adam Wainwright was doing when the Cardinals were also like one of the best teams in baseball. But from 2007 to 14, and he missed the entire 11 season and came back just as strong. His average season was 209 innings pitched with a 2.99 ERA. So Wainwright, Hall of Very Good, but I think squarely in that sort of thing. On the AL side, a little bit more historically significant. This was Zach Greinke's win. He led Major League Baseball in B-WAR and F-WAR at 10.4 and 8.7 respectively. He also led baseball in ERA at 2.16. Depending on which wins above replacement you use, the gap between him and the second best contender in the AL was very different, Justin Verlander. F-WAR had the gap as basically non-existent, 0.3. B-WAR had a 4.9 wins above replacement gap. I don't know that I've ever seen in modern baseball a gap like this between the two wins above replacements for major award consideration. What is this all about? For brevity's sake, we'll just boil it down to the fact that it's basically ERA versus FIP. There was a 2.16 versus 3.45 split between the two ERAs, which obviously would lend you to believe that one person was very deserving, the other really wasn't in the conversation. If you look at their FIP, it was much closer, 2.33 to 2.80. But what that says to me is that Zach Greinke had a 2.16 ERA and his FIP suggests that he wasn't lucky at all. He had a 2.33 FIP. He was only fifth in the AL in innings pitched, and that to me is another just kind of an aside because he threw 229 in a third innings pitched, and that was fifth in the AL, and that would basically lead Major League Baseball 15 years later. Stepping back, this was the full-on breakout season for Zach Greinke. He had posted a cumulative 4.28 ERA over his first 5 seasons, 04 to 08. He was a very highly touted prospect, but had not fully taken that leap. This was more than a leap. This began an 11-season stretch from 09 to 19, where his average season was 201 innings pitched, a 3.08 ERA, and 5 wins above replacement per season. And if you look at B-WAR, I said earlier, it was 10.4 wins above replacement. Okay. The only instances of a pitcher generating 10 or more wins above replacement in our lifetimes in a single season are Zach Greinke in 2009, Pedro in 2000, and Roger Clemens in 1990 and 1997. Every other instance is from the 1970s or earlier. There are only 13 instances in the history of Major League Baseball, no matter how far back you go. It's obviously, just to reiterate, this is the last 10-win season by a pitcher in Major League Baseball. So it's been 15 years, and by this metric, no one has matched Zach Greinke's 2009. And if you think that's specific to B-WAR and it's just a quirk, I'm here to tell you that it's not, because the last player in the AL to have a better season by F-WAR is Pedro in 2000. So there have been, I think DeGrom in 19 was the last pitcher in Major League Baseball to surpass Greinke's F-WAR this season. But this is a legitimately historically significant season, and it goes without saying that I am not taking Zach Greinke's award away. This is one of the easiest no-knocks in recent hindsight history. So that's enough talking from me. I would be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on what you remember about Greinke and Lincecum, or these seasons specifically.
I mean, immediately my thought goes to Hall of Fame cases. Greinke is still a guy that has been kicking around. Does he still want to pitch? And then with Tim Lincecum, I don't know that it's the perfect comparison, but Corey Kluber comes to mind, right? A guy that's got the 2 Cy Youngs, but is he a Hall of Famer? No. And it's an interesting debate. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of us probably arrive on no for the Hall of Fame, but how many guys have multiple Cy Youngs or MVPs and don't end up in the Hall of Fame?
Well, that's why the burst is what captures your eye, and that's why it feels like this is a wonderful candidate to have around that that peak conversation. But the problem
because they were back to back.
What's that?
The Lincecum ones were back to back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, back to back Cy Youngs. So I mean, in a very short amount of time, you have a lot that is achieved, right? You have a multiple World Series championship run 3 times over. Mm-hmm. You're a 2-time Cy Young Award winner back to back. You're a 4-time All-Star. So all of that happens essentially the minute you show up in the league, and then you dominate, and then it just kind of goes away. And you spend the latter part of your career just, trying to get outs, trying to figure out how you're going to survive with the stuff that you have today. But I mean, you go back and you look at those 3 years, 4-year run for Tim Lincecum. I think probably 3 years. I mean, it is as dominance as you could be. Led the free world in strikeouts 3 years in a row. I mean, the strikeouts per 9, 3 years in a row. So the swing and miss, but the fashion in which he was performing, the fashion in which he was winning, those are the things that I think fans remember. Those are the things that you latch onto. Is it wasn't him just being successful and getting outs. It was how he was doing it.
Yeah.
Finishing ball games, shutting teams out. Like, that's just stuff that you weren't seeing a ton of even at that point in time. And I think when you go back and you look at some of those Cy Young votings, what's really what makes you feel good about it is each and every one of those guys is finishing ball games, and maybe just one for some of them, but they're finishing games. And that's just not something that happens today.
I vividly remember, I know where I was at the time. I remember Tim Lincecum's postseason debut. If you guys don't remember that, that was a shutout with 14 strikeouts and 2 hits and 1 walk, and they won the game against Joey's Braves 1-0. I just that's not in the Hall of Fame or not in the Hall of Fame, but I just remember like, and the cool thing is that it wasn't in his Cy Young seasons, right? It was 2010. So like, you almost weren't even getting peak Lincecum in some ways in the postseason. But you did get to see peak Lincecum in the postseasons in some ways. You guys floated the thing about multiple Cy Youngs and not in the Hall of Fame. That is pretty rare, as you would imagine. Corey Kluber is not eligible, but he's not going to make the Hall of Fame. He'll be on that list. Lincecum, Johan, who I think is the barrier to entry for a lot of these cases, because if Johan can't or won't get the attention that he deserves, you're just not going to get it for Lincecum or Kluber because they frankly weren't as good as Johan, or don't have the bulk that, I mean, I know Johan's peak was relatively short, but it was longer than these guys. Brett Saberhagen, Denny McClain, and then obviously Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw, who are not eligible, DeGrom and Snell also potentially on that list, but those are multiple Cy Young winners who are not in the Hall of Fame.
You mentioned seeing Lincecum pitch in the postseason. I think, Dallas, you were also there. Game 5 of the World Series in 2010. I was in Arlington, Texas for that. Tim Lincecum went 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts in the World Series clincher, closed out by none other than our very own Brian Wilson for the 2010 World Series champion San Francisco Giants. That was the beginning of the run. That was one of 3.
I was there in San Francisco, game 1.
Yeah.
Getting shit-faced in the parking lot playing Flip Cup with Jameson. with 11 biological brothers. 11 biological brothers. 11 siblings.
Oh,
11
not
brothers.
to you.
No.
Yeah,
not
okay.
mine.
I was confused for a second.
No.
That was quite a plot twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get them on the pod. You know?
Yeah, get them on. Jake booked the brothers. Is this the longest baseball is that of the offseason? It's got to be.
It's really long.
Yeah, what are we at, Jake?
We're at 2:23 right now.
Woo!
Yeah, we were cooking today. All right, we'll be back on Monday. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
Yeah. Go down the rabbit hole of Zach Gallen, Shane Bieber, and Corbin Burns. And when you do that, I think at the end of it, you're going to go, Zach Gallen about to get fucking paid. Zach Gallen about to get paid. But it's just interesting. Just real quickly, through their first 6 seasons, Shane Bieber 16.9 WAR, Zach Gallen 19.7 WAR, Corbin Burns 13.8. The body of work, Shane Bieber 831 innings flat, 815 and a third for Gallen, 709 and a third under the belt of Corbin Burns. ERA across the board, how about this? 3.27 for Bieber, 3.29 for Gallen, 3.26 for Corbin Burns. The ERA plus 131 for Bieber, 129 for Gallen, 129 for Burns. Strikeout percentage, 27.8 for Bieber, 26.6 for Gallen, 30.4 for Corbin Burns. So that being the dominating separating factor between the arms. And then the command to Bieber, 187 total walks to Gallen's 258 to Burns's 206. When you look at the accolades, Shane Bieber's a 2-time All-Star. He's got a Cy Young under his belt in that truncated 2020 season. He's got an ERA title to his name. He's a Gold Glover. He's the only Gold Glover of the group, and he's also the only one to win the Triple Crown of the group.
There you go. What are you guys' thoughts on making Monday just the Christmas special and then call it for the rest of the week? We can, because then that way we can do the redraft with Joe here with us.
I think the number of listens we're going to get on a day after Christmas podcast is probably pretty low. So
yeah,
I think making Monday the Christmas week podcast makes a lot of sense.
Okay. All right. A little BID Christmas special on Monday. And of course we'll be available for any emergency pods next week.
No doubt.
So, all right, let's call it a 1 pod week next week and make it a little Christmas special. We'll do the 2019 redraft with Joe. Jay, hey, any final thoughts?
Trailers and stuff for the new Superman movie are making their rounds, I guess. This is not my wheelhouse, but what is my wheelhouse is baseball, and Progressive Field, Jacobs Field, is featured in the movie. At different points. I also learned in my background of finding out why they would choose Progressive Field. Apparently they were filming in Cleveland for multiple weeks all summer, and that the original creators of Superman are from Cleveland. So a little homage, I guess, there. But yeah, you'll see shots of Progressive Field if you go to see the new Superman movie.
Wow. There you go.
And for the fans who believe, if you are in the group that believes Die Hard is a Christmas movie and is one of the better Christmas movies out there, there's another Christmas movie along the same vein that is out there for your viewing pleasure. Features Jason Bateman, who I'm a big fan of. It is called Carry On. So if you're looking for a different type of Christmas movie,
that reminds me. So you're pitching a movie. I'm going to say if you're looking for a new Christmas story to read, I cannot recommend A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote enough. It is too long to read to your kids, unless they have remarkable attention spans, but it is short enough. It's a short story to read to yourself before you go to bed or after you're done putting the children to bed. I think it is as good of a short story as exists in literature, and it just so happens to be Christmas themed. So check it out.
Wow, what a recommendation by Jay Hay.
A little Truman Capote in your life.
Yeah, look at that.
Try to stay on brand. Yep.
Yeah. Jake's takes?
If you're a fan of Joe and his humor, go check out today's Section 10 episode around the 2-hour mark. He acts as our Japanese correspondent, and it's just really good stuff.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It is great stuff. It was a great cameo for Joe. All right, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Get that last minute holiday shopping in. I know I'd gotta just go buy some gift bags. I don't even pretend to know how to wrap anymore. I used to just do like a shitty wrap job and call it a day. It's bags for everyone. I don't give a fuck. You know, tissue paper, the whole 9 yards. So I still got to do that. That's what my weekend looks like. We'll see you on the other side on Monday for the BID Christmas special featuring Joe. And you know what? Do you want to know the Cy Young MVP discussion, Jay Hay? Do you want to do some of that on Monday as well?
Sure. I'm always game. So yeah.
All right. Let's fucking find out. Let's find out. Justin Havens, you will be researching the 1995. I think we did the MVP because didn't you take it away from Mo Vaughn?
Yeah.
It says the MVP. So do you want me to re-roll the year? Let's re-roll the year.
Yeah, let's re-roll it.
the 1970 Cy Young.
1977.
All right, so this is a Bob Gibson season in the NL, and a man named Jim Perry
Yeah.
Okay.
in the AL.
I
Okay.
don't know why.
I don't feel real good about Jim Perry
No.
keeping this award, unfortunately, from
Get
Mr.
it, Jim.
Perry. Yeah,
Is he still with us? That's what I
he
want
is
to
still
know.
with us. He's 89 years old.
Oh, God bless him.
So
This
There-
is going to
the
be
only
a
reason- the
horrible
only reason-
holiday. See, guy's almost 90 years old. You're
I'm
going
going
to
to be
take
taking it away
the
on
one
the
thing.
23rd.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he was a 3-time All-Star. He's got some other stuff going for him.
He
He had a
started
17-year
40
big league
games.
career. He's got the pension. I'm not taking his pension away.
No.
Hey, I gotta say this, and I'm not gonna name names. You can probably put it together. One of my favorite things about talking to older ball players, older broadcasters, older guys who've been around the game that have made a mark, left a mark on this game, is when conversations like we're having right now kind of come up organically, and you can feel every bit of the I don't know if it's frustration, but it's every bit of the what the fuck were they thinking? What the fuck was going on? Like just them outwardly questioning the end result of something, but when they do it, they're breaking it down, and you're hearing reasons why. And sometimes, Jay, they might not be the one who was the clear-cut second play. Like sometimes that is what it is. But even in that narration, you get great stories, great little quips. So yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Can I'm actually going to correct myself and then change what we're doing. I just pulled up my list. We actually haven't done 95. What we have done is I have mentioned it over and over again as one of the great travesties in award voting history. And so I had to go back and make sure that we actually we have not done it. So I'm going to reverse course, and we are going to do the 95 MVP, because this is on the short list of ones that I have wanted to do so badly. And the NL one is actually interesting for different reasons as well. So yeah, back on. And I think that's more interesting for the fans anyway, but 95 MVP is back.
So then Dallas, I feel like we have to get Mo Vaughn back on the podcast if Jay's going to take his MVP award away. Because that's coming.
Oh, it is so coming.
Yeah. The hit dog's about to be stripped of some hardware, and that's
And I would I think that's an environment where Jay and Mo sitting on a bucket
I think
in
that
the
would be
cage. I feel like that's the best setting.
Mm.
If anybody wants to facilitate me and Mo sitting on a bucket while I pry his MVP away, I'm happy to do so. I would love to hear him talk about how he was actually better than Albert Bell this season, even though Albert Bell was better in every statistic you could possibly find.
Mm.
There isn't a statistic that exists.
Maybe his teammates.
Not batting average, not on base, not slugging, not homers, not RBI, not runs, not wins above replacement, not games
Can't
played.
quantify chemistry, Jay.
Yeah, Red Sox won the division that year.
The Indians went 144 that year. They won 100 games in a 144 game season.
That's nice. Anyways, so we will be back on Monday for Jay Hay to take a closer look at that 1995 MVP.
I've never been more primed.
The 2019 MLB Re-Draft with Joe live in person, and maybe we'll play some Christmas music and talk about some baseball along the way. Just the fellas on Monday. Okay. Be on the lookout for any emergency pods if anything goes down. We're still strapped and ready to go on all that. But all right. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Wow.